it's right. We'll share our dreams and our passions. The sky shining bright, we've got it all. I say, we got it all, and I believe it's right. We'll share our dreams and our passions. The sky shining bright, we got it all. Out of sight. We've got it all, and I believe it's right. We'll share our dreams and our passions. The sky shining bright, we've got it all. Out of sight. We got it all, and I believe it's right. We'll share our dreams and our passions. The sky shining bright, we got it all.
Reach with your heart, my little one. Beyond every night, you will find the sun. Life is a wonder, and it's just begun to find the love in you. Time invites you to dream and grow. Life invites you to seek and know. To believe what your dreams are of brings the heart of your dreams toward love. Reach with your heart, my little one. Beyond every night, you will find the sun. Life is a wonder, and it's just begun to find the love in you. From within your mind, no one else can find the love that you inspired. From the very start, hidden in your heart, it is love that is even higher.
From within our mind, no one else can find the love that is inspired. From the very start, hidden in the heart, it is love that is even higher.
Love is contagious, and you have both caught it.
I'm searching high, not low, as high as the mind can go. I feel the breeze, it's heading our way. Hold on to your dreams, hold on to today. We've got it all, and I believe it's right. Sharing our dreams and our passions under sky shining bright. We've got it all. Day and night. Do you remember not long ago visiting dreams? Who would know I'd be the one here by your side, holding your
Hello everyone, welcome to another stream. How's everyone doing? Today we're doing a movie stream, so it's just gonna be casual, fun. We're gonna talk about movies. I got a bunch of packages that someone sent me from my Amazon wish list, so we're gonna open those. I don't know what's in them, but I'm excited. It's like stream Christmas. So yeah, that'll be fun. How's everyone doing? After that, we'll watch maybe some film, video essays, watch some old movie trailers. We'll talk about whatever's in these boxes if they're movies I'm familiar with. So, cool. Let's see what I missed. Siberian Winter, thanks for 22 months, says, hey Hannah, it's been a bit. Fun fact, I went back and finally watched the Rem Lazar VOD, and all of a sudden, a lot makes sense, oddly. There you go! There you go. We should watch Rem Lazar again someday. We need the newer people to catch up and know the Rem Lazar stuff. Did D&D get canceled tonight? Yes. Yes, it did. Any public domain movies? It depends what's in the boxes. No, I didn't have any planned. It's not a public domainious stream as much as it is just talking about movies. Stuff like that. We're not gonna watch any full movies today. We'll watch clips and stuff most likely. But. MH Darkbeast says, howdy Hannah, they put the 4K Chucky sets up on Scream Factory now. You got the option of a set with pins or less expensive options. Yeah, I never do I actually like pins a lot, but the Shout Factory sets with pins are so expensive. I'll be getting the very basic versions of these at some point down the line. But, yeah, they're collector's editions. I'm sure they're very nice, but they're crazy expensive. Oh, heck. iCurly, thanks for subscribing and also gifting 10 Tier 1 subs. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Meek with 150 bits says, Queen Hannah, I wait for the day we invade the Cornlands and cook Jake the Pretender in tinfoil. It'll happen. That's fine. If I annex his channel, does that mean I get all his followers? That'd be pretty rad. Oh, thanks, iCurly. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you get something out of my streams. We're on a hype train now. Shockingly, 13% to level 4. Cloud Wizard says, please wish me luck. I'm interviewing for jobs. I wish you the best of luck. That's always a stressful time, so hope it goes well. Stromboli says, may I ask your opinion on Boondock Saints? If you haven't seen it, I understand, but I have a lot of opinions on it, and I'd love your input. I own it, I haven't seen it. I have it on Blu-ray, because I found it at a thrift store for, I think, $3 on Blu-ray. And I was like, I've heard this movie before. I know people like this movie, so I got it. I haven't watched it yet, though. Got it at a thrift store probably 8 months ago. Maybe even a year. Gnome Pickles says, I mean, I subscribe to both, so does that mean I'm kind of a weird double agent, or can I be Sweden? No, you have to swear allegiance to me. That's how this works. I have the tit window. And if tits don't interest you, I also have a penis, so I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. Pretend the last 30 seconds didn't happen. Anyway, let's bring this full screen. There we go. You can see me up close. That's nice, I guess. So let's do some unboxing, shall we? Baha, because she doesn't trust me to not show our address, taped it. It's taped. Smart. I'd have to compete with a bunch of VTubers for your tit affection. These are real, though! VTubers are just pixels on a screen. Am I a joke to you? Let's see what the first movie is. We have Caddyshack. A film I have seen once, but was funny. There's some outdated stuff, but looks like there's some notes in this one. Always enjoy your streams. You're so kind and funny. Congrats on the marriage from Old Enough to Know Better Now. Thank you, Old Enough to Know Better Now. Appreciate it. Let's see. I don't have a ton to say about Caddyshack. I honestly have more to say about the sequel, because I think it's funny that there's a Caddyshack 2. A relatively early movie for Bill Murray, I guess. Was this before Stripes? I'm not sure if this is before or after Stripes. But either way, enjoyable movie. Good get. 17% to level 4 on the hype train with a minute and a half left. There's a sequel. Oh, do you want to see the trailer to Caddyshack 2? Let's do it. Yeah, it's bad. Hey, we can't get the main characters back from the last one. Let's get a bunch of the secondary characters to be the main characters this time. That always works out in sequels, right? Oop, sorry, I gotta turn it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
What goes around comes around. Welcome back to Caddyshack.
Hey, Ty, you're looking well.
Hey, nice to see you, Vinny.
Ted, whatever.
Bushwood Country Club.
Was this the when Chevy Chase started people being like, oh, Chevy Chase?
So, you want to join old Bushwood, huh?
Where snobbery's a way of life.
We just don't feel your Bushwood material.
I want to buy Bushwood Country Club.
Well, let me ask you this. Do I own it?
But now its members are gonna get what they deserve.
What do you think? Isn't it great? Huh? It's great, huh? Isn't it? Huh?
Good God.
The Shack is back.
Our members will never stand for this.
It's a story of high culture.
Woo! I was looking for a...
Polygrip?
No.
That loose stuff you put your combs in?
No.
And subculture.
I got you now.
I feel the worst for the Gopher. I hope the Gopher got good contract negotiations between movies. Thank you, Baha.
Furry freak.
Sophisticated ladies.
Ooh, you did that
It's National Lampoon's golf course. Yep.
on purpose.
Well, I won't be a caddy all my life. I'm going to car wash school
Thanks for
in
the
the fall.
level 4 hype, everyone.
And perfect gentlemen.
Have you ever seen a crisp $50 bill?
I tell you what, if I pull the arrow out, will you please suck out the poison for me?
Caddyshack 2.
Is there any money in it for me?
Whoo boy! I think that's what he said when he was asked to be in this sequel. So that's Caddyshack 2, but this is Caddyshack, so thank you, old enough to know better now, that was you, right? I just read the note. God damn, my ADHD's bad. Oh! Good news! I'll be properly medicated for my ADHD soon. I'll be too powerful. I'm getting on meds soon, so that'll be good. Can you imagine me, but with the ability to, like, laser focus, pay attention? Woo! That's gonna be interesting. Alright, let's see what's next. I know there's scissors. Where's scissors? There's scissors. Holy tit balls. iCurly tips $100 and adds another day to the maid outfit. God damn it. So this was day 3 of 5. Now it's day 3 of 6, apparently. So there's that. I got that going for me, which is nice. Woo. Perma Maid. If you guys want to continually pay me to wear this, that's fine. I got nothing against it. This is what happened to Finster. I'm being forced cat-mated. CatDog. So this isn't a movie, it's a TV show. It's a Nickelodeon cartoon animated series from the early 2000s and late 90s with the odd premise of a half cat, half dog. Where's their butthole? I don't know, but that's CatDog. God damn, I think with this edition, I think I now have the entirety of the Shout Factory, the Shout Factory Disney stuff, or not Disney, Nickelodeon stuff. It doesn't say from who, but thank you. Thank you very much. You need to raise money for a more comfortable maid outfit. I'll upgrade at some point, maybe, but this one isn't too bad. Honestly, it's not too bad. Could I move the mic closer? I'm a bit quiet. Yeah, how's that? Better? Hopefully better. All right, what's next? We got 3 boxes. We learned their parents were frogs. We never find out who their real birth parents are. It turns out they were adopted, because there's like a whole movie that's them trying to find their parents, and when they do, it turns out they like have, you know, adoptive parents. And that's good enough for them, which is a good message, you know. Buttershave says, I watched the stream where Hannah Reloaded ordered the Catgirl outfit. She said, and I quote, I'm not a Catgirl, but I'll wear it. Are you a Catgirl now, Hannah? Are you? I play one on the internet. No, I am not a Catgirl, but I will wear the outfit for you guys. That's true. Baja, altered it for me. It was pretty shit before, so without her, it would be unbearable. Let's see. This is an Arrow Blu-ray called Contamination. I'm not familiar with this movie, so I can't speak to it. It says, starring Italian horror veteran Ian McCullough, Contamination from director Luigi Cozzi is one of the brightest stars in the... what is this? Firmament of early 80s Italian splatter. A cargo ship drifts into New York Harbor. Its crew, all dead, their bodies horribly mutilated, turned inside out by an unknown force. Its freight, boxes upon boxes of glowing, pulsating green eggs. It soon becomes clear that these eggs are not of this planet, and someone intends to cultivate them here on Earth. But who, and to what end? Contamination takes the premise of Ridley Scott's Alien and peppers it with exploding guts galore and dangerously infectious soundtrack from celebrated Italian prog rockers Goblin. Italian horror, interesting. Let me watch the trailer for this. Let's watch the trailer for this movie since I'm not familiar with it. Just got to find it. What is it? Contamination? Contamination trailer. That sounds terrible. You need to see it.
Bridge. It's not answering our radio call.
Hi, Drake.
Hey, Matt. The suspense is killing me. What do you think?
There's not a soul in sight. Really weird.
There's somebody in there, I'm sure of it.
Oh my fucking god.
Do you mean they come from outer space?
Why not? How many worlds are there in the universe? Millions. Perhaps billions.
Unless they come from much closer, but...
Hi, Curly. Thanks for 551 bits.
Mars has always stimulated man's imagination. But as far as that cave was concerned, there was absolutely nothing in there.
You were telling the truth all along.
But these are photographs.
Oh.
But there hasn't been another expedition to Mars.
No. These were found here, on Earth. Thousands of them.
The woman is Stella Holmes, a first-class mind.
This gentleman and lady would like information about our coffee.
All your questions will be answered here.
Is that like a trap?
It's too Milton has got your friends.
Well, that guy looked a little bit like Dean Stockwell. It is, as in it is Dean Stockwell? Or it's ridiculous. Well, that looks pretty crazy. Thanks, whoever got me that. I'll check it out. Let's see what else we got. Same package. Looks like it's all Arrow stuff. Flowers in the Attic, which I'm pretty sure, was this a made-for-TV movie? My mom used to talk about this movie. When their husband dies in a tragic accident, widow Corinne Dollenganger takes her 4 children to the ancestral family home, and she fled before they were born. Locked away in the attic by their tyrannical mother, it falls to older brother and sister, and Kathy, played by Christy Swanson from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, to care for their younger siblings, but with their mother growing increasingly distant and erratic and mysterious sickness taking hold, will any of the Dollinger children survive to escape the clutches of their house's cruel matriarch? They did a TV adaptation later. Okay. Louise Fletcher and incest. Oh, boy. Well, that should be an interesting one. One thing I always like about the Arrow videos, by the way, is they tend to have pretty good covers. Hold on, I gotta put the... They'll have, like, a newer cover that they do a design for that'll look something like this. It's sort of like a modern design. But then on the flip side, if you'd like, they tend to have, not always, but most of the time, they'll have the original movie poster, and you can kind of flip it around so you can pick, do you want the old art or the new art? I tend to do the old art because it gives old video store vibes, and that's something I really enjoy. I should watch the trailer. Sounds good. For movies I don't recognize, I will watch the trailer. There we go, see? Now it looks like something you might see on a VHS tape at the video store in the 90s. Let's check out the trailer. You have the Arrow editions of Hellraiser and Audition, good stuff. Me too. I have Hellraiser 1 and 2. Hellraiser 3 was only Region B, and I don't have a region-free Blu-ray player, so I only have the first 2, and I also have Audition. Let's see. Flowers in the Attic trailer.
They have come to seek refuge.
Oh, it's got the trailer voice. In a world
are kept where the future is haunted by the past, where the innocent...
Hellraiser 3 is actually not Region B. You have the box set. Does it just say it? Because the website says it's Region B.
Live in the shadow of sin.
I've seen that before, though, where some of the cases will say Region B, but then they're not.
Where a dark legacy awaits to destroy all who defy it.
Looks intense. Stromboli says, QQ, what's your opinion of Young Frankenstein? I love it and laugh at all the bits, but there's something about the middle of the movie that always makes me fall asleep before the putting on the Ritz number. I like the movie. I love the whole movie. I'm a huge, I love Gene Wilder. He's such a... He makes... He makes it look effortless how funny he is. He has such a... he has the ability to react very dryly, but in the funniest way with the best timing. Like, he knows exactly what to do. He knows how to both play the straight man and the person making the joke and telling the punchline. He's great. He's wonderful. So I love Young Frankenstein. Do I know why the trailer guy got phased out? Cliche. People just got sick of it, and trailers are an art form. So the way that they stylistically are done, there are eras of trailers that you can look at and say, oh, this trailer is very 70s, or this trailer is very early 2000s. So it's just a stylistic change that happened over time. It was like in the mid-2010s, after Inception, when every fucking movie trailer for a while had to have the boom, you know, those beats with, like, the just deep bass for no reason.
The one truth they have yet to face. My God. Is the terror no one could imagine. Flowers in the Attic. Victoria Tennant. Academy Award winner Louise Fletcher. Based on the bestsellers that have shocked 40 million readers worldwide. Flowers.
Oh, hi, Lumi. How you doing? We're doing a movie day. People got me stuff from my wish list, so we're going over it, looking at trailers for things I haven't seen. Let me put this back. Let's see. What's the next movie? Last House on the Left. This is Wes Craven's first movie as a director. It's actually interesting to me that Wes Craven I don't know if redefined. He helped cement certain styles of horror in 3 decades respectively. In the 70s, he did Last House on the Left, which is a very famous... oh god, is this a rape revenge movie, or am I thinking of a different one? Let me look. On the eve of her 17th birthday, Marie and her friend Phyllis set off for her family home to the big city to attend a concert by shock rockers Bloodlust. Attempting to pick up some marijuana on the way, the pair run afoul of a group of vicious crooks. Headed by the sadistic and depraved Krug, gagged and bound, the young women are bundled into a car trunk and driven into the woods, where the gang subject them to a terrifying ordeal of humiliation, torture, and murder. Unleashed on the unsuspecting public in 1972, The Last House on the Left shocked audiences with its graphic and unflinching portrayal of interpersonal violence, paving the way for a whole heap of imitators looking to capitalize on its success. It is Wes Craven's original alone, however, that remains one of the true watershed moments in horror. It has snuff film vibes, which wasn't unpopular in the 70s. That kind of horror film was big in the 70s. And then in the 80s, he, of course, famously started the most famous slasher of all, arguably. Maybe a little bit behind Jason, just in terms of immediate recognizability from people. Freddy Krueger. And then in the 90s, of course, when the slasher genre was basically on its deathbed because it had been beaten to death by so many terrible movies and so much cliche, he was able to revive it with Scream. It's crazy. Genuinely, Wes Craven was, he was good at what he did. Okay, next box. Cannibal Holocaust is another 70s snuff-style horror flick. Yeah, the director actually got in trouble for that one, because for some reason authorities thought it was real, even though it was a movie. Let's open this one. It's Jason, Freddy, Ghostface, Michael in terms of face recognition. Really, I think Michael's high up there. Halloween's one of the most famous movies of all time. I think general people on the street might know Michael Myers. I don't know, though. Do I have a copy of The Wicker Man? No, a 4K re-release is coming out for the 50th anniversary. Looks like another Arrow box set of foreign films. Solid Metal Nightmares, the films of, oh gosh, Tsukamoto. Tsukamoto? I'm sorry if I butchered that. Oh, he's the guy that did Tetsuo. I talked about Tetsuo a little while ago on stream. It's the body horror movie where the guy, like, slowly turns into a machine or, like, is melded with a machine or something. That's an interesting one. I'm a big fan of body horror. I've been on a Cronenberg binge lately. I watched, like I said the other day, I watched Crash for the first time. Holy hell. I love Cronenberg, but what is wrong with that man's brain? But I'm very excited to see this. This has Tetsuo and Tetsuo 2. I wasn't aware there was a sequel. Tokyo Fist and Bullet Ballot. A Snake of June and Vital. Kotoko and Killing. So cool. Outside of Tetsuo, I don't know much about any of these. That's underselling it. I don't know anything about any of these, so that's interesting. I like the blind buys. I like that I'm getting some stuff that I can check out for the first time. Ooh, it's one of the nice Arrow box sets, too, with the thick cardboard. Damn. That's a good one. Woo, that'll look nice. Thank you. There are 3 Tetsuo? Is it a different person turning into a machine person? Or is it just the same person? Alright, one more box, I believe. And then we can do... Ooh, this is heavy. It's a heavy-ass box. Ooh, sorry for the tit window. Where did the scissors go? There they are. Have I seen Funny Games? I have not. The Old Dark House 1932 was worth a look? Okay. Didn't that get a remake in like the 50s or 60s with Vincent Price? Because I feel like I'm familiar with the Vincent Price version. I've not seen Funny Games and I didn't know there was a remake, so I don't know anything about it. Whew. Trent Reznor did the soundtrack to the third. Oh, okay. Whew. Okay. Bubble wrap. Speak of the devil, someone who mentioned Cannibal Holocaust. Here's Cannibal Holocaust on 4K. This is a movie. I can't show you the back of the box because there are boobies. This is a movie that kind of treats itself. I just noticed what the next movie is, you fucking sick fucks. Well, is this whole box just fucked up shit? No, it's fine. It's fine. Cannibal Holocaust, a movie that, again, kind of almost takes found footage type, almost like a proto-found footage style in some sections. Cannibalism, I think someone eats a dick, literally, pretty fucking crazy movie. Also, was banned from the UK for many years. I don't know if it still is, but it was one of the first video nasties, so... That's fun. The next one, I regret putting this on my list now, but now I have it in my collection, and it'll probably never get watched. I have seen this movie, and can't imagine I will ever watch it again. It's a Serbian film. That's all I have to say about a Serbian film. If you know, you know. If you don't look it up. Don't look it up. Ooh. We have, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, a German expressionist film from the early silent era. This is an incredibly famous and important film for horror. It's atmospheric. It tells this tale of Caesar, is that how it's pronounced? Who is a sleepwalker who's put under the control of Dr. Caligari, who is a hypnotist who uses Caesar to commit a series of murders. This is quite famous because it's a German expressionistic style, which is also seen in movies like Nosferatu. Is that German expressionism? But yeah, that's a great movie, and it's like a 4K too, so that's cool. This one is 4K George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead. I don't know how much there is to say about it. It's one of the most famous zombie films of all time. It's probably the best zombie film of all time, in my opinion. I like comedic zombie films too. I like Shaun of the Dead. But generally, I'm not the biggest fan of zombie movies, but if there's any that I am, it is Dawn of the Dead. Night of the Living Dead's okay too, but I think Dawn really has fun with the premise, and also the social commentary angle. Plus, just the idea of being in a mall. That's fun. Getting to do whatever you want in a mall, that's a good one. And then finally, my wife will be happy about this, whoever got this. I don't know if you got this specifically because I mentioned it the other day. Police Story trilogy in 4K. So that's nice. Police Story. So Police Story... The first Police Story movie might be the best Jackie Chan movie of all time. So if you don't know, Jackie Chan, famous martial artist from Hong Kong, or at least he made films in Hong Kong. After going to the US and having not so much success because he didn't like how Americans made movies, he thought the cutting was too quick, they didn't really capture the martial arts that he was performing. He decided, fuck this. He went back to Hong Kong. Didn't they make like 7 Police Story movies? There are 4 that are in canon, and then there are a couple that are like... There's another one called like Another Police Story, but it's not related at all. There's also Crime Story, but that's unrelated to Police Story. It's just another movie with Jackie Chan. Anyway, so after he was so disappointed with working in America, he moved back to China, went to Hong Kong, and decided to make his own movies with his own stunt team. And that's how we got Police Story, which is unironically one of the best kung fu movies ever made. Jackie Chan does all of his own stunts, as he was one to do for the vast majority of his career. I think only recently he started using stuntmen for some things because he's quite old. I'm not saying that to be rude, it's just, you know, Jackie Chan's near the end of his career. Gotta save that so I can scan it. But the stunts that Jackie Chan does in Police Story, I'm just gonna have to show you some, because this man, I can't believe he didn't die. Post Rush Hour 3? No. He went to America in like the 70s. It didn't work out, so he came back to Hong Kong and made these movies and a bunch of other famous Hong Kong films. And then, off the success of his movies that he made with his studio or with his production company, he then returned to the United States and did stuff like Rush Hour, Shanghai Noon, stuff like that. This was early in his career. So, let's take a look at some of the stunts from Police Story. Police Story stunts. Oh, Jackie Chan, multi-talented, also wrote and sings the theme song to Police Story, because if you don't know, Jackie Chan is he's a singer in China. He sings, and he's not a bad singer. He's actually a good singer. Like, unironically. He did sing a cover of the Mulan theme. He actually did this. Jesus.
乜你一啲都唔緊張嘅？係呢啲咁嘅場合，我哋見慣㗎啦。係咪咧？叫咗你唔好講嘢㗎啦。點啊？哎呀，喂老友，香
He got hit by cars a lot. Whenever he does that, he's really doing that, to be clear. He could really be hit by that car if he didn't jump quick enough. This man is insane. I can't believe he's made it to the age that he is. It's nuts. Jackie Chan, of course, is like the main guy, and he choreographs the fights. Like, he's the boss here. But you gotta also give credit to all his stunt people, like the other stunt people who aren't Jackie, because while he does take a beating, and a pretty bad one, usually his stunt team are the ones that he's beaten up on. Oh, I know about the personal stuff with Jackie Chan. I'm strictly talking about him as a performer. I gotta find the truck. When did the truck thing happen? Because, like, oh, here it is. The bus. Yes. Look at this fucking man. He is legit only held to this bus by hanging on to this umbrella by his bare hands. He really did this. Oh my fucking god. Look at this. What is he doing? Oh god. The timing is so satisfying. See if we can find the lights thing. Like, I know it's breakaway glass, but that still looked like it hurts so bad. Yeah, the mall fight's great from the end of the first police story. Which is this. You can't tell. Oh! Here's one of his stunts that you find most impressive. It was in Project A. Okay, we'll check it out after this. Thank you. Is it the one where he slides down the building? Because the building one where he no, not the same one, but there's one where he slides down a building, and I forget what, was it from Meals on Wheels? Or Wheels on Meals, rather? That's Who Am I? Oh my god, I missed the lights. Okay, so Jackie Chan really did slide down this pole, and it was covered in lights, and he fucked up his hands severely This almost fucking killed him. He did get electrocuted. Technically, he got shocked. Electrocuted, by definition, means it killed you. But he did get shocked. This is nuts. Check this out.
Maid! 家居你點啊？咁犀利個輝，使唔使公事包？哦。死啦！豬頭！快啲！哦。
Oh, here it comes. He's gonna do the slide. Oh, God. This is so stupid. You shoot it from multiple angles, because of course you're gonna just show it multiple times from different angles. You spent the time, you got hurt for it. Why not? Ooh. There's a crash pad in the kitty house. I don't know how much it helped though, because he had to fall on the kitty house first and through the fake glass. Gnome Pickle says, say what you will about Chan, like that his love interest in his movies are half his age now, and that he can be a bit of a terrible person, but the man has commitment to stunts that would kill most people. Yeah. I don't think I would like the guy personally. Oh, this playground fight from Police Story 2 is pretty good too. With the way that he like dives between like the bars and stuff. Pretty impressive. The sound effects are great. I don't want it to sound realistic. It's a kung fu movie. It's so sad to me that Bruce Lee, I mean, obviously it's just sad in general that Bruce Lee died so young, but can you imagine if, like, in this era, Bruce Lee... A show from that. Someone else sent a clip from Project A, which I don't think I've seen this one. Is this gonna be a Buster Keaton homage? Yeah, nice. I know, Jackie has talked about in the past, in part being inspired by people like Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin, who in the silent era both starred in, wrote, and did their own stunts in their movies. And there's I'm pretty sure it was Buster Keaton who did a famous movie where he hanged from a clock face like this, and I assume this is an intentional homage to that. Have you guys seen the Ip Man movies, by the way? Those are also great. They're Chinese propaganda, but like they're good movies. Oh, he landed on his effing neck. Oh no. Oh, that. Each repeat was a different take. He did it multiple times. It looked like he landed differently, so that makes sense. Yeah, because that time he landed right on his head. This time, oh yeah, he can tell that's different. Ooh!
點啊？冇事，不過我終於證實到一樣嘢。證實乜嘢？呢個世界上真係有地心吸力㗎。
Let's see if I can find the building one. Jackie Chan sliding down building. The thing I like, and I like, let me be clear, I like Bruce Lee and I like Jackie Chan for different reasons. I have the Criterion Bruce Lee collection that's really good too. It's got most of his famous movies. Anyway, Bruce Lee often comes off as, like, unstoppable. You know, he's unbeatable. That's, like, his whole thing. But Jackie Chan tends to come into situations in the stories in his movies as the underdog. He is often getting hurt and usually on his back foot, you know? And that's more satisfying because you get to see him fight his way back using skill and ingenuity and random improv. And that's always satisfying. Secondhand Lions? I think I've seen Secondhand Lions. Yeah, I guess it's a similar thing to Die Hard in the first one. Bruce Willis's character, John McClane, is just an everyday guy in over his head. That kind of character is a lot more satisfying to see win than someone who is already presenting themselves as unbeatable. And I'm not saying, again, that there isn't a place for that. Like I said, I love Bruce Lee. I just think that it's more narratively satisfying typically when it's something like this. I have not seen Jet Li's Hero. No. Buster Keaton didn't do the clock, it was Harold Lloyd. I apologize. I'll have to turn in my film card. Here he goes. He's gonna do this. This is a bad idea.
He's dead!
He must have had a harness on for this one, right? Right? I don't see one, but... The clock face silent film was Safety Last, but it was Harold Lloyd, not Buster Keaton. Okay. Oh my god! That's a move he loves to do, is the punch and then the... He likes that. That's a go-to for him. I like my kung fu movies cheesy. I like the cheesy, campy, like, higher, you know... Oh, I think that's fun. Alright, how the hell is Jackie Chan still alive?
Hi everyone, I'm Moose, and after our video about Tom Cruise's death-defying stunts, you guys were clamoring for us to cover the career of Jackie Chan. And I've got to admit, when it comes to injuries, Chan kind of makes Cruise look like a toddler. Over his 50 years in cinema, the beloved actor, singer, and stuntman has taken one hell of a beating. But after well over 100 movies, Hong Kong's greatest action hero is still going strong. Today, we're taking a look at some of his most gruesome gaffes to ask what could be the most important question of our time.
Jackie Chan was in a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger a few years ago. It was a movie from Hong Kong. I want to say Jackie Chan was playing like the man in the Iron Mask or something, or some variation, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was playing Captain Hook, I think? His name was James Hook, although he didn't have a hook or anything yet. It was interesting. Their fight scene was fun.
Times. How the hell is Jackie Chan still alive? Jackie's had dozens of brushes with death, including one close call that left him bleeding from bone fragments in his brain. But before we get there,
that's not a good place for bone fragments to be.
Let's talk about that time that he was pretty much folded in half. One of Jackie Chan's biggest influences is American silent cinema, specifically the pratfalls and perilous stunts performed by trailblazers like Buster Keaton. That's why in his 1983 film Project A, he engineered a set piece that paid tribute to one of the most iconic moments in classic comedy, Harold Lloyd's Clock Tower Caper in 1923.
It's actually cool how they did this particular shot. This set with the building side with the clock is actually a set on top of the roof of a building. So underneath this is the roof, right out of frame with like a pad and everything. But yeah, that's how they got this effect, to make it look like he was hanging off the side of a building, because it's a fake side of a building on the top of a building. That's pretty that's ingenuity for the 1920s. That's pretty good.
Safety last. Now, Lloyd used some optical illusions to make it seem like he was dangling from a skyscraper high above the streets of LA, but Jackie did it the old-fashioned way. He spent the whole week psyching himself up for this 80-foot drop he had planned, and while the two awnings he crashed through were supposed to break his fall, they also twisted his body so he landed straight on his neck.
Yeah, I did just say that. I beat the video, so I think that means I win.
Of course, there was no padding. There wasn't even a cut. He had to stand up.
Yeah, Police Story 2 opening is I noticed that. It just plays like the hits from the first movie, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. The first movie has crazy stunts. Of course you're going to show it again. But like, how do I put this? I don't think that there are any big... I like Police Story 2 a lot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's bad, but it seems like there were big stunts and big set pieces in Police Story 1. Like at the beginning of the movie in Police Story 1, when that village gets obliterated because they drive a truck through it down the mountain. Nothing big like that happens in Police Story 2. There are plenty of smaller, very impressive stunts and things that happen, but there isn't a big thing like that. Hydrate.
And keep acting after a severe cervical spine injury.
The gangsters are still up there. How many? How many? About 5 or 6. They've got weapons. Weapons?
Not only that, he insisted on filming the fall 2 more times, each one equally brutal. But he lived to drop another day, and drop he did. He dislocated his sternum and received a severe concussion after falling from a chain in
Armor of God 2, Operation Condor.
Of God 2.
Which, okay, there's a weird naming thing with this. So I believe in China it was basically they switched. In like China it was Operation Condor. No. Was it Armor of God and then Armor of God 2 Operation Condor? But in other regions, they were released in the opposite order. So it was Operation Condor 2, the Armor of God in like some. Basically, they reversed the movies in some regions, which doesn't really matter. They're sort of like Indiana Jones style adventure movies, so it's not a huge deal. Just kind of weird.
And famously demolished his ankle after leaping onto a hovercraft. But that didn't stop the Chan man. He just painted a big sock to cover up his cast and kept on stunting. In 1985, one of Jackie Chan's most famous falls resulted in burns and a busted spine. According to Jackie, Police Story is his best pure action film, and given its legendary reputation and incredible sequences like the Shantytown car chase and dangling from a double-decker bus, I'm not going to argue with him. The climactic scene at a shopping mall is also where Jackie suffered a string of horrific injuries in a stunt gone wrong. The final showdown is filled with squibs and sparks and shattered sugar glass, culminating in a classic slide down a metal pole. They only had one chance to shoot the stunt since the production had to clean everything up so the mall could open the next day, and Jackie was understandably a little nervous. So one of his fellow stuntmen offered him a big old hug and a Buddhist prayer paper to keep in his pocket.
Maybe give him a shot. Just something to loosen him up.
It wasn't
or a Xanax.
Enough to keep him completely safe, but the last-minute divine intervention might have prevented a far worse fate. So, what went wrong? Well, for one thing, the pole had been standing under hot studio lights for hours, so when he grasped it with his ungloved hands, he instantly suffered severe second-degree burns. If that wasn't enough, the glass partition he crashed through barely slowed down his fall, and he landed on the hard marble tile below with a sickening thud.
Why did I think there was a crash pad in the house? Probably because that's the reasonable thing to do. You're already hiding it under a kitty house. Put a pad. Jesus Christ.
Dislocating his pelvis and nearly cracking the 7th and 8th vertebrae in his spine.
The end credits of Jackie Chan movies are great because they'll show stuff like this. Like, this is literally a shot from the end credits of one of the movies where they show, like, the injuries and the bloopers and stuff. There's a wicked one in Police Story 2. His character's girlfriend does this thing where she has to run under these, like, bars at a gym or something that are all tipping over. And it's like a crazy thing because she has to actually keep ahead of these or else they'll knock her in the head. And I said that when we were watching the movie. And then in the end credits, there's the blooper. She doesn't run fast enough and it smacks her in the back of the head and it gets all bloody. Oh my God. Just insanity what these people do for entertainment.
Jackie was nearly paralyzed, but this still wasn't his most life-threatening tumble. We're almost there, but first, let's look at the time he crashed into a helicopter. No. Not in a helicopter crash, he crashed into a helicopter. There's an important distinction there. Jackie Chan plus vehicles is kind of a recipe for disaster. He broke his foot and nearly destroyed his knee in a skateboarding accident during City Hunter. Which resulted in the rare case of Jackie letting a stand-in complete the shot for him. In Crime Story, Jackie pulls his legs to safety just before two crashing cars crush them into oblivion, but in a previous take, he wasn't so lucky. His most iconic mishap with a moving vehicle, however, has to be from Police Story 3, Super Cop. Let's put it this way. Most people don't survive a helicopter crash, especially when it smashes directly into you.
Oh, God.
Jackie had no problems dangling from a rope ladder as it bashed him into billboards, but after the chopper lands on a train, Chan is left clinging to a pole. And when the whirlybird blasts by him, it collides with the actor at full speed, fracturing a rib and tearing the ligaments in his shoulder to shreds. And even worse, the poor guy just had to dangle there in agony until the crew could cut him down. Still, the result is one of the most spectacular set pieces in all of cinema. None other than Quentin Tarantino proclaimed that Super Cop boasts
the greatest stunts, and that's even including Buster Keaton, the greatest stunts ever filmed in any movie ever.
I'm inclined to agree, but even though it must have been extremely painful, a separated shoulder isn't usually life-threatening.
'Tis but a scratch.
Unlike the accident that nearly killed Jackie in 1986, where he suffered a badly broken skull. It goes without saying that Jackie Chan is no stranger to head injury. He's been slashed across the face by a broken steel cable, nearly lost an eye after an errant punch shattered the ridge of his brow, broke his nose at least 3 times, and dislocated his cheekbone, which I didn't even realize was a thing. In a career filled with knocks to the noggin.
You didn't know cheekbones were a thing?
One errant impact.
What a weird line. Gnome Pickle says, something I have been noticing that may be a bit off topic, but it does seem that every Jackie Chan character is either named Jackie Chan or man who has forgotten his name but is strangely good at kicking. Hey, Cassifel. How you doing? We were actually watching Police Story 2 the other day, and oh, he didn't know dislocating a cheekbone was a thing. That makes sense. I guess I assume you can dislocate basically any bone. But no, we were watching Police Story 2 the other day, and the dub just calls him Jackie. He's Officer Jackie Chan. Which is funny, because in the dub of the first movie, he's not named Jackie. Whatever.
impact
I think different companies did the dubs of 1 versus 2 in English.
Nearly ended Jackie Chan's life in a film called Armor of God. As you'd expect, the movie is filled with madcap stunts, including a scene where Jackie skydives onto a hot air balloon.
What?
But the stunt that nearly slayed the star was far more routine. In the opening sequence, Chan slides down a wall, leaps off, and catches himself on a tree branch. Which is pretty simple, right? Well, everything went smoothly for the first take, but ever the perfectionist, Jackie insisted on a second shot, and that's where
I watched the dubbed version. Yes. Don't be mad at me. I'm okay with dubs. You snobs.
It hit the fan, or rather Jackie hit the ground. When he grabbed the branch, it snapped, sending him plummeting 16 feet to terra firma, where his head cracked against a rock. It instantly shattered his skull, forcing shards of bone up into his brain, resulting in a torrent of blood gushing from his ear. The injury required an...
We watched the entirety of Squid Game with dubs. I won't be judged by you people. Moira Soma says, I'm so disappointed. That's fine.
8-hour emergency surgery and left him with hearing loss in his right ear, as well as a plastic plug permanently embedded in his skull.
Oh my God, yes, 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 yes!
Jackie considers this particular fall the closest he's ever come to death. And when you consider everything else he's been through, that's kind of saying something.
I'm elbow, my jaws, knees, cut, angle, all my teeth gone.
I got to admit, Tom Cruise has some serious guts. But he's still a far cry from equaling Jackie Chan in terms of on-screen injury. But he's still got time to catch up, since Jackie's Daredevil days might be behind him. He's basically uninsurable at this point, and no studio would dream of letting him do his own stunts today. So the 60-year-old has finally started to slow things down, which is probably for the best. We've only scratched the surface of Jackie's jaw-dropping injuries, and frankly, it's a miracle he's even still alive today. But after 5 decades of suffering for his art, I think Jackie Chan has earned a break.
Ladder fight, ladder fight.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you like our catalog of crushing injuries suffered by your favorite stars.
Hey guys, I'm Kai.
How to kill Freddy Krueger? Alright, I'm on board. Fennec Kagami says, don't feel bad, Hannah. I watch dubbed anime when it's available. It's easier on my ADHD. Yeah, it's fine. I don't care about the snobbery.
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep you safe this October. With all the killer
That said, I do watch things with subs. It's not that I always watch dubs, it's just sometimes I don't feel like reading through a whole movie, and that's fine.
Mass maniacs, and monstrous monsters running around out there, it's essential to know thy enemy.
There are movies that don't feel right to me as subs either. Like when I watch Godzilla, any of the Godzilla movies except for the first one, I will watch with dubs. The first one I think deserves subtitles because it's like an unironically really good movie. And it's drama and stuff. But like most of the Godzilla series, I think works a lot better with dubs. It's fun. I like it that way.
If you want to survive for the sequel, you've got to learn from their past defeats. So we're going to kick off the series with the guys eliminating one of my favorite movie slashers and tell you how to kill Freddy Krueger.
The thing about Freddy Krueger is that here's what we learned in the first movie. Okay, in the first movie, Nancy beats Freddy by not believing in him anymore, and that's how she defeats him, which apparently sticks well enough for her to go off on her own and get a degree when she comes back and is a doctor, a psychiatrist, in part 3. In the other movies, it's always something a little different. But the way I make that work in my headcanon is it's irrelevant what you actually do to kill Freddy. What matters is that you believe truly that it will kill Freddy. It's again about belief. You're taking power away from him. He functions on fear. So if you and your group of friends really believe that holy water or whatever is going to stop him, it will, because you'll no longer be as afraid of him. You get what I'm saying? That's how I justify it all in my head. Poetic Fox says, check this trailer out, Hannah. I showed it to Discord, but I don't know if you've seen. Let's see. Six-string samurai?
1957, the bomb dropped. The last bastion of freedom became a place called Las Vegas.
Las
and
Vegas?
Elvis was crowned king.
What?
Now, his only heir has died, and Vegas needs a new king. And one guitar-picking, sword-swinging wanderer is fighting for the throne.
Oh, this seems like the kind of dumb bullshit I'm into.
And one lone orphan is along for the ride.
If you scratch my guitar, I'll kill you.
Follow the yellow brick road, homie. Do you know who I am? Nope.
You know, we don't get too many new guys around here. A lot of king wannabes on their way to Vegas.
You are in Soviet territory. No one goes through.
The war is over, baby. It's been over for years. So all you commies, step aside.
Neither armies nor bowlers.
Nice tuxedo. Nice tuxedo to die in.
Nor death himself.
Don't let the Four Eyes reach Vegas alive.
Will keep them from their quest.
I gotta get a new kid.
Oh shit, raid! KF Logan! Thanks for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Today is a movie day, so we're talking about movies. I already did an unboxing because people got me some stuff from my wish list. I'm a movie collector. And now we're just talking about different movies and stuff. Doing different video essays about movies, trailers, all that kind of stuff. If that interests you, cool. If not, it's not something we do all the time. Usually I cover debunking conspiracy theories and all sorts of other stuff. But today we're doing something a little more fun. Well, for me. Not as stressful. Quiet One, thanks for gifting a sub to KF Logan. So yeah, go follow KF Logan. How was your stream? Good, I hope. AI generated movie trailer. We'll watch that. I actually saw this on Twitter, and the same kind of people who were crypto bros are now like, this is amazing. Watch out, Hollywood. This is gonna take your jobs. And then you watch it, and it's like unintelligible bullshit. We'll finish this trailer first, though. Cripple Punk, thanks for gifting a sub.
Don't touch my guitar, man. Don't even touch my guitar.
They called him the Six-String Samurai, and he became a legend. Jeffrey Falcon, Justin McGuire, Six-String Samurai.
That looks fun. I'll check that out if I see it on streaming or whatever. I'll check it out. Moira Soma says, when I saw Robert Englund in Stranger Things, I screamed out loud and wished I wasn't alone so I could tell someone how happy it made me. I didn't know he was in it. He's such a good actor. I actually haven't seen much else he's been in. I know he was in a movie called like 1001 Maniacs or something. And he was also in Phantom of the Opera, a remake in the 90s, which I have, but I haven't seen yet. It's on YouTube for free? Okay, cool. I'll check it out sometime then. But yeah, I like Robert Englund. I wish he'd come back one more time to play Freddy, but I get it. He's older. Like, he doesn't owe anyone anything. It's whatever. Alright, so this is a movie trailer that was put together by someone who used AI shit to make the shots, and I don't know, the script maybe? AI text to video movie trailer. All the shots in this movie trailer were created with text prompts and beta versions from Gen 2. Okay, let's give it a shot.
In a world of glamour and intrigue where nothing is quite as it seems, one chance encounter leads to a night of unforgettable adventure.
I fully admit that, like, in the future, this might get good. It might get to the point where it looks real. Right now, it's a nightmare. It looks like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's uncanny valley hell. It's the scariest, like, fucked up,
romance.
Again, maybe it'll get good eventually. And I don't know, this is horrifying.
The music, the atmosphere, it's like stepping into a whimsical dream.
Care to dance and make this dream even more enchanting, madame?
Featuring stunning dance performances, unexpected twists, and a touch of feline elegance. This whimsical and captivating romantic comedy set in the glamorous 1930s era is sure to sweep you off your feet.
Honestly, if someone uses tech like this to make a horror movie where the monster is, like, made like this, that might be good. But just the monster. It has to be juxtaposition. It has to be like something, a creature that looks like this but in a completely real environment. That might be creepy.
This night just keeps getting more...
Like, just make it a cosmic horror movie about some being from another plane of existence that's trying to emulate humans but does a terrible job and they don't know it, and that's horrifying. There's your premise.
And more peculiar.
Does this make me a scab for the writer's strike?
Well, they do say that curiosity killed the cat. But in this case, it seems to have given it a double life.
From the visionary creator of Taste of Duality comes a movie that will leave you spellbound and craving more. Get ready to experience the magic of...
That's literally just a shot. That's literally just a shot from Baz Luhrmann's Great Gatsby, but it's not Leonardo DiCaprio as Gatsby.
Get ready to experience the magic of...
Like, this is literally the famous shot from Gatsby. This is just stolen. This is just theft. Wait a minute, was it plagiarism all along?
The Great Cat Spy. A celebration of passion, humor, and the pursuit of the perfect romance. Coming soon to a screen near you.
Terrible. Just goddamn terrible.
We'll start with the obvious. Burn him alive.
Burning Freddy alive isn't gonna kill him. He's already dead. And even if you pull him out of the dream, it's not gonna do it.
Frederick Charles Krueger was just...
This is the thing. What sustains Freddy Krueger is not the dream demons that were introduced in Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. The real thing, the evil supernatural force keeping Freddy Krueger alive, is franchise rights.
It's an immortal man.
Yeah, fire's what killed him originally.
And when he first started killing. The Springwood slasher used his handmade bladed glove to murder nearly 20 kids over the years. He was caught by authorities but released on a technicality. So the parents of his victims cornered him in a boiler room, doused him with gasoline, and set him on fire. But don't think you're gonna get off that easy, because after his birth death, Freddy gets a lot tougher.
One of the best shots in horror history is this one. I love it. Beautiful practical effect. And the remake ruined it by making it a terrible CGI bullshit. And bear in mind, I'm not one of these people. I'm not saying that CGI is bad in and of itself. The utilization of CGI can be incredibly lazy. Like, you need a mix. But it seems like everyone just wants to throw CGI at anything. You know how they did this effect? It's literally like a sheet of latex or some other material like that over a hole in the wall with clever lighting to make it look like it's part of the wall. Beautiful, and it looks great, and it looks creepy. Like, this hasn't aged at all. I think this shot still looks good. Gnome Pickles says, the AI characters look like the Korik Whisperers from John Dies at the End, and then you told me not to worry about, never mind about the link? Okay.
As he burned, Freddy was approached by the Dream Demons. They were
dumb. I even like Freddy. I like Freddy's Dead. It's not a good movie, but it's the first Freddy movie I saw, so I have nostalgia for it. And who doesn't like Freddy Krueger using a power glove? That's cheesy. That's fun. The dream demons were stupid and are stupid, and I hate them, and I'm going to pretend they don't exist.
Were big fans of his work, so they gave him the power to haunt the dreams of children and kill them in their sleep.
And open up.
And you shall be
forever.
Cool. Just Dream Team is this one.
What movies are we talking about? This is the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
It's like douchebags. And in his new form, one of the
clip had some nudity. Okay, I'm glad you warned me.
only ways to kill him is through the power of disbelief. Also,
we've only seen 1 and 2 of Freddy. Watch 3. 3's probably the best one. 3's great. I think the sweet spot for Nightmare on Elm Street is 3 and 4. I really love the first movie. It's a great horror movie, but I think its like full creative potential is really, really shown in number 3, and that continues to an extent in number 4. 1 is the one with Johnny Depp, correct. 2 is the gay one. 3 is the one where Nancy comes back, and it's the best one.
So why does...
You could probably skip 5. I like them all. It's my favorite slasher series, because I like the fantasy element of the dream, you know, going into dreams and stuff. The gay one, the second Nightmare on Elm Street movie is very gay. Are you not familiar? Hold on. They go to a leather bar in it. I gotta find the dance scene. This is a scene from Nightmare on Elm Street 2. The main character is gay-coded, and also the actor is gay, IRL. There's a documentary about him and the making of this movie and the gay undertones called Scream Queen. It's a good documentary. I would recommend it.
How do you like that?
I used a clip of this in TBR once. All the good editing jokes were me, by the way. You've seen all the Nightmare films, plus Freddy vs. Jason. I've even seen the one where they go meta and do a movie about how the Nightmare movies are becoming real in a reboot. Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Good movie. Falls apart at the end, but pretty good. I like that movie.
Does he have to kill, like, when you hear he's gonna kill children, I'm thinking, like, little kids?
You've seen 1 and 3, not 1 and 2? That's fair. Check out 4, maybe. 4's still good, I'd say. It's not as good as 3, but it's certainly watchable. It's a fun one.
It's not like teenagers who could actually...
And New Nightmare is quite good, too. Also, maybe check out Freddy vs. Jason. It's certainly a movie. The
like,
fight scenes are fun.
Practical, kill like toddlers. They can't fight back!
Okay, bye.
Freddy Krueger actually has a lot in common with Pennywise from It. They have a godlike control over reality.
I was actually hoping, like, I'm not the biggest fan of remakes. However, like, I get that they're gonna happen, and if they're gonna happen, I think they should be done justice. I really liked the It remakes that were done, in the past 10 years or so, It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. I was hoping the director from that would get picked up to do a reboot of Nightmare on Elm Street if they were gonna do it. Because very similar premise, you know? kind of magical horror being uses people's fears in order to prey on them. And even one of the last shots in It Chapter 2, the kids are riding away on bikes, and, or maybe it was It Chapter 1. Either way, one of the shots is the kids riding away, and the movie theater is playing Nightmare on Elm Street 3. And I was like, oh, is that a hint? Did he already get hired, maybe? And this is a hint towards that? Nothing came of it, unfortunately.
No running in the hallway.
They both got a killer sense of humor.
Now I'm playing with power.
And their power comes from the belief and fears of their victims.
You all taste so much better when you're afraid.
This is why I couldn't do that Santa or Easter Bunny shit, because you start believing in that stuff, and then all of a sudden, like, they become real and want to kill you, and I'm not with it.
I can probably get rid of the disclaimer this episode, since it's a movie stream.
At the end of the first movie, Nancy pulls Freddy out of the dream realm and into our reality. See, Freddy is immortal in his own world, but with a little determination and a tight grip, it's possible to bring him into our backyard.
I'm crazy after all.
He's still pretty tough and extremely dangerous, but you can definitely do some damage. In the end, though, Nancy simply turns her back on him. Without her fear, Freddy has no power over her, and he vanishes into nothingness. So, if you're backed into a corner with nowhere to run, try talking some shit.
It's too late, Krueger. I know the secret now. I take back every bit of energy I gave you.
You're nothing. You're shit.
You're nothing.
I just love it that like you can be rude to Freddy and call it a sick burn, and it has like a double pun. If that doesn't work, you might want to give him a little smooch.
Oh god. Okay, so this is the ending from Nightmare on Elm Street 2. The gay one. Unfortunately, the symbolic message of the second film at the end is that a woman's love will cure your gay. That's basically the underlying theme of the second movie, unfortunately. Odd Tall Man says, as a gay man, Nightmare on Elm Street 2 meant so much to me. I was a kid then, and I absolutely picked up on all the gay subtext, and let's face it, the homoerotica, the gym coach naked in the shower and getting spanked with towels, yeah, I remember that too, and I was like, this is weird. Like, not bad weird, like, it's fine, I'm an adult now, and like, I find that stuff interesting now. It's a very different movie. But I know as a kid, I was like, this doesn't feel like the other movies.
The first sequel, Freddy's Revenge, is maybe the weirdest entry in the series. Instead of his usual MO, Freddy's spirit possesses a teenager named Jesse.
Freddy's an allegory for gay thoughts.
Jesse.
In this movie.
We got special work to do here, you and me.
He actually racks up the highest kill count of any Freddy film.
That's just because of the pool party. Hydrate. Freddy goes to a pool party in number 2 and kills a bunch of kids.
Like 10 victims, but that's mostly thanks to a killer pool party.
You are all my children now.
At the end of the movie, Jesse's girlfriend Lisa follows him to Freddy's infamous boiler room. And in a rare case of a horror slasher getting some action, she plants a big ol' kiss right on Freddy's lips. I mean, like, well, the charred flesh of where his lips used to be, I guess. But it works. Thanks to his girlfriend's love and bravery, Jesse fights off Freddy's possession. The husk of Krueger's body burns away and Jesse crawls out unscathed. So if you got someone special in your life, keep them close because they might just save you from Freddy. But if you're still searching for love, you can always just bury him. In Dream Warriors, we learn a lot more about Freddy's.
This is a weird one. The transition between 3 and 4 is so weird because the third one, they seem pretty conclusive that, like, we need to put Freddy's bones to rest, and if we do, then he's gone forever. And then in the fourth movie, they're just like, nah, though, he's back because a dog pees on him. And it's like, how does that work? How does that work?
His origin, courtesy of his mother Amanda's ghost.
That girl was Amanda Krueger. Her child, Freddy. The bastard son of 100 maniacs.
We also learned that the only way to stop him for good is laying his bones to rest on holy ground. Good news since—
unless a dream dog pisses fire on it, then he comes back, I guess.
Freddy's starting to get really creative with his kills.
It's like Palpatine. Somehow Freddy Krueger returned.
A group of troubled teens use their special powers in the dream realm to keep Freddy occupied, while in the real world, their psychiatrist buries his remains. He throws them into a grave, douses them with holy water, and burns his skull with a crucifix for good measure. Back in the dream, Freddy is ripped apart by beams of light. Unfortunately, it's not the permanent solution the Dream Warriors had hoped for. Freddy returns in the Dream Master, where he's resurrected by a dog pissing a stream of fire onto his grave.
Sure.
So much for holy water.
That effect was great too. The way that they get the effect of Freddy coming back to life from bones and the flesh coming back on the bones is they built a wax Freddy and then melted it down to bones that were underneath, and then they just reversed the footage. They just played it backwards.
Freddy doesn't have the
so it looks like his flesh was like unmelting from his bones.
Memorable kills in this movie, though the roach motel is like the stuff of nightmares. That shit is creepy because like you have like the roach legs like crawling through the skin.
They check in, but they don't check out.
Okay, anyways, I mean it was.
I love this. Can we continue to do the occasional film stream? Yeah, this is actually the second one of these we've done. The first one I talked about all my Marvel movies.
It was better when she was actually a roach and he just crushed her, but like the transformation part was the f***ing worst.
Very Kafka-esque.
Yeah.
You know, Kafka-esque in that you turn into a giant roach, like the metamorphosis. That's what's meant by Kafka-esque, right? Is being turned into a giant cockroach. Literally, yes, but...
Shit. It definitely has one of my favorite Freddy death scenes, though. When our hero Alice takes him out by rhyming. Nursery rhymes are
That's not... She doesn't do it by rhyming. She uses the rhyme to remember that she can use his reflection to kill him. Which never comes up again.
Big deal in the Nightmare series.
I always hated that song.
When I was a kid, I used to like sing that song, and I have no idea where I heard it. So when I actually saw the scene with the girls with the jump rope.
What's the dipped out before I talked about Eternals? That's in your top 5 MCU films, right? Eternals is my least favorite MCU film, and I can't imagine I will ever watch it again. It's just not good.
It was really freaky because it was like the weirdest sense of deja vu ever.
3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix.
And there's another poem that has the power to destroy him. Alice and Freddy are duking it out.
That's not did you watch the movie? The poem doesn't destroy him. His reflection does.
The dream world, when she remembers a rhyme her mother taught her, she realized.
What if the MCU was ending and you wanted to do a rewatch of all the films? Maybe. I doubt I'd pay much attention.
Is that Freddy's evil can be used against him, so she recites the lines as she reflects his power back at him.
Evil will see itself. And it shall die!
The souls of Freddy's...
This is great, by the way. This effect's awesome, too.
Victims trapped inside his body wake up, and they are pissed.
They built a giant torso for this shot. So it's like a giant torso, and then you have normal-sized people pushing through the giant torso. It's beautiful. There is a boob, though, so I'm gonna not show it just in case
the souls tear him apart from the inside and float off into the sky.
One of the people pushing out of the chest has breasts, and they're clearly visible. Probably didn't show it in that shot because it is on YouTube, but just trying to be safe.
As Freddy's empty clothes fall to the ground. So, whatever you do, don't forget the Dream Master rhyme. Like, maybe put it on a fridge magnet or like a nice needlepoint embroidery. You're gonna need to keep it handy if you want to kill Freddy. That, or you can make like Mortal Kombat and perform a babality.
Cabal wins. Babality.
What is a babality?
A babality is a move in Mortal Kombat that is akin to a fatality or brutality, however, it turns your opponent into a baby.
Babality.
Babality! Don't put that in there. Freddy gets reborn through the ghost of his mother and the Dream Child. And with his new lease on the afterlife, he's definitely having fun. Especially like when he turns that nerdy comic fan into like paper and then shreds him into confetti. Freddy wants to share the love, so he takes a protege in Jacob. He's the unborn son of Alice from the last movie, and even though he's just a fetus, he can appear in the dream world as a powerful young boy. At the end, Jacob turns against his mentor and sucks the souls out of his body.
School's out, Krueger.
The tongue does that for some reason.
Turns Freddy into like a twisted monster baby. Then he gets sucked back up into his dead mother's womb, which is probably even less pleasant than it sounds. Although it can't be as bad as getting blown up by a pipe bomb.
I can't believe this is how they killed Freddy. I guess Freddy versus Jason happened, which is fine, but
Freddy's dead was billed as the final nightmare, and surprisingly they stuck to it, at least as far as the original Freddy goes. This was his last appearance until Freddy vs. Jason 12 years later. Freddy's long-lost daughter Maggie pulls him out of the dream world and kicks his ass with everything from knives to ninja stars. Then she stabs him in the gut with his glove and jams a pipe bomb in his chest. Like, shit, that is a lot of pent-up aggression.
Kids.
Anyways, Freddy blows the fuck up, releasing the dream demons and sending him straight to hell. He'll chill there for a little while until his frenemy Jason Voorhees unwittingly brings him back. Let's wind down with a lightning round of some quasi-canon ways to finish Freddy. Wes Craven's New Nightmare isn't really about Freddy, it's set in the real world, and the killer is a supernatural entity who takes the form of his favorite movie monster. But if you need to kill a demonic Freddy impersonator, your best bet is to trap him in the oven, Hansel and Gretel style. In Freddy vs. Jason, Krueger gets yanked out of the dream world to battle the hockey masked maniac. Jason impales Freddy with his own glove attached to his dismembered arm. Then the final girl lops off his head with a machete, which is cool as f. I mean, but he seems fine afterwards, yes? And if you want to kill the remake Freddy Krueger, you can pull it.
What are you talking about? What remake Freddy Krueger? They never remade Nightmare on Elm Street. Platinum fucking Dunes.
Into reality and slice his throat with a paper cutter. Or you can just not buy a ticket and see the movie, because that reboot's dead in the water anyway. Just like you'll be, unless you follow our handy dandy guide. Handy dandy, because gloves. But I'll level with you. Even with all this knowledge, your chances aren't.
The remake is very bad. Yeah. It's bad. It's one of those Platinum Dunes remake. Michael Bay's production company, who also I think did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remakes from the early 2000s. I don't know if they had any fingers in the Rob Zombie Halloween pie, but it's similar to that. Best slasher remake? The Friday the 13th one honestly isn't that bad, and it doesn't even really need to be considered a remake. It's just basically a sequel that kind of retells some parts. So the Friday the 13th one isn't too bad. I'd have to look at a list of other slasher remakes, because I can't think of any other good ones.
Great.
Yeah, does Evil Dead 2 count? Since Evil Dead 2 basically remakes Evil Dead 1.
Because no matter what you do, Freddy's coming for you. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed our little survival guide.
Sure, let's do the Jason one. Why
Hey
not?
guys, I'm Kaya, and it's my favorite kind of year. I love it when Friday the 13th falls in October. It's
Is there any point in watching Evil Dead 1? Yes, I still think it's a good movie, and it... I don't know how to explain it. I don't think it's sacrilegious to watch Evil Dead 2 and then Army of Darkness, and then maybe later go back and watch Evil Dead 1. The first one does have the rape tree.
Like snow on Christmas, but you might want to reconsider that last-minute camping trip in Jersey, because Mrs. Voorhees' baby boy is out there, and if you want to survive, you're definitely going to need my help. That's why today I'm going to teach you how to kill Jason Voorhees. But I'm warning you right now, it's not gonna be easy. This psycho is notoriously tough to keep down, so let's start with the tried and true tactic of drowning him. Pamela Voorhees worked as a cook at Camp Crystal Lake when her deformed son Jason drowned in 1957.
His name was Jason.
I was working the day that it happened.
I'm sure everyone knows this at this point, but that is supposed to be Jason saying, "Killer mommy."
Preparing meals. Here, I was the cook.
She snapped and killed 2 counselors who were having sex instead of watching him, which might be an overreaction, but also it's camp, so like teenagers high on hormones having sex is kind of a given, but also do your jobs. Years later, she went on a killing spree to stop the camp from being reopened, but Jason was a better swimmer than anyone realized. Turns out he never drowned in the first place, which means poor Kevin Bacon probably could have avoided getting an arrow through the throat.
Was this a Tom Savini effect? I'm pretty sure Savini did the effects in the first movie and some of the sequels. This is a good Savini. Check this shit out. Oh! Like, obviously you can see how it's done. It's not like the most seamless effect ever, but for the 70s, that's pretty fun. Late 70s, early 80s.
Jason crawled out of the lake and disappeared into the woods, where he grew up big, strong, and utterly insane. After witnessing his mom get decapitated with a machete, he took her severed head into the woods to plot his revenge. The machete became Jason's trademark weapon. It works great on unsuspecting campers, but it's also pretty effective against Jason himself, if you can get the drop on him. Maybe you can make like Ginny in part 2 and surprise him with some Pam Voorhees cosplay.
Now come to mommy.
That was also Freddy's plan.
Come on.
Because who doesn't like cosplaying as a dead mother? Jason had some questionable fashion choices in his slasher debut, but his talent for creative kills was there from the get-go, like when he buries like a machete in poor Mark's face.
Have I seen Wizard of Gore, ridiculously over-the-top 70s gore? Haven't seen it.
So you just have like a
fifth movie doesn't count since that wasn't Jason, true?
machete to the face. And
is Jason a revenant? Revenants don't have physical form, right? They're just ghosts. I would say he's closer to a lich, accidentally, because his spirit returns to his corpse more powerful every time he dies. Does that make sense? He's not officially undead until part 6. He really dies in part 4. Corey Feldman kills him, and then he comes back to life in part 6. Part 5 is a copycat.
It shouldn't be funny, but
Revenants do have physical form if you go by medieval lore, then I guess he's a revenant. Sure.
It is. Poor Mark had to go down all those stairs. No one called anyone to help him.
How did he get up those stairs?
I don't... That's a good question. Oh, shit.
He might be a demon since his mother was messing with the Necronomicon seen in the 5th movie. I always find that weird to, like, do I treat that as canon? Because obviously it's just a wink-nod reference to Evil Dead. Do I actually, in my head, have to now justify that Evil Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Friday the 13th all take place in the same universe, and the Necronomicon is responsible for Jason Voorhees? I don't know. I'm familiar with Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, because that was going to be the sequel. I know.
The real mystery. The final girl, Ginny, finds his shack in the woods, complete with a shrine to his dead mother. Ginny puts on her sweater and sweet talks Jason into a trance.
Jason! It's all done, Jason. That's my boy.
Come, kneel down.
Then when he's distracted, she cleaves his shoulder in 2. Unfortunately, the machete wasn't enough to finish the job, but you might have better luck if you axe him in the face. Jason finally gets his hockey mask in part 3, courtesy of an obnoxious prankster named Shelly who gets his throat cut as a reward. But that pristine new mask gets seriously messed up by the end of the movie after our heroine plants an axe right into his dome. Pretty deep too, but it still wasn't enough. Jason wakes up in a morgue in the final chapter. Up until now, Jason is just
the final chapter.
Just a mortal man. He takes some
part 4 of 11, the final chapter. Actually, I think there have been 12. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is takes Manhattan, right? Or is that 8? Have there been 12 or 13 Friday the 13th? 12? Okay. So anyway, part 4 is called The Final Chapter, but it's only a third into the series.
Lumps, but he's still technically alive. If you want to kill him for real, you've got to be Corey Feldman. It's pretty clear why the fourth Friday is such a fan favorite. I mean, the only thing better than Crispin Glover's dancing...
That wasn't Crispin Glover's fault. They were playing a different song on set, and then they replaced it with a song that was not correct.
Is Crispin Glover getting a meat cleaver to the face?
Ted, hey, Ted!
Where the hell's the corkscrew?
Where the hell's the corkscrew?
It's also the series debut of Tommy Jarvis, played by Corey Feldman. He's a nerdy little kid obsessed with movie makeup, who shaves his head
he's just Tom Savini, but a kid.
Pretends to be Jason's younger self.
Jason, don't you remember?
The Tom Savini self-insert character, even though he's not the writer or director.
Remember, Jason. Jason, remember.
Jason falls for it even harder than when Ginny impersonated his mom. Like, Jesus Christ, he's not really all that bright, is he? Tommy swings for the fences with a...
Don't be mean to Jason, he's doing his best.
Machete, and
his brain meat's rotted.
Damn near splits Jason's skull in two. And in an unusually smart move for a slasher movie, Tommy keeps hacking away at him.
They tease the Tommy Jarvis becoming a serial killer thing so hard, and it just never happens.
Jason is so...
It's teased in this movie at the end, it's teased in part 5, and then the end of part 5. And then just nothing. Just Tommy dies in part 6, I think. Wait, does he? Does he survive part 6? Jesus Christ.
Dead after this that he sat out...
Sorry, I primarily remember part 6 is the one with the rad Alice Cooper theme.
A new beginning, where a lame copycat named Roy did all the killing instead. When Jason Lives begins, Tommy's stuck in a mental institution haunted by his past.
Tommy doesn't die? Okay, that's good, because he shows up in the comic Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, right? With a bunch of the other survivors?
With Jason. He escapes and digs up Jason's body, hoping to cremate it. But Tommy loses his shit and starts stabbing it with like a metal pole, which gets struck by lightning and revives Jason as a truly undead killing machine, because that's how science works. The new zombie Jason is way stronger, and by this point, he's almost impossible to kill. So you can make like Tommy and do the next best thing. Chain him to an underwater boulder. This won't actually kill him, even if you chop up his face with a boat propeller first. But it will keep him out of your hair for a while. After Tommy leaves the series, our next hero is Tina, a girl with the power of telekinesis. Think like Jean Grey or Carrie. True life.
This is actually interesting. The New Blood, which is the one she's talking about with the psychic teenage girl, first of all, very satisfying conclusion, or climax rather, because it's someone fighting Jason who can actually fight back, because she has psychic powers. And 2, it was actually pitched as Freddy versus Carrie, but they ended up not doing that, and instead they just used generic psychic girl, which is still good. But
life is going out the window at this point in the movie because we're just like zombies.
I'm so disappointed Kane Hodder wasn't the Jason in Freddy vs. Jason. That would have been nice.
These psychics, whatever. She's actually a pretty even match for Jason. She sets him on fire and blows him up, but to finish him off, she still needs help from her zombie dad.
Who looks fine for some reason, even though he's been in the water for over a decade. Sure, fine.
After Tina resurrects him, her old man drags Jason back down to the depths of Crystal Lake. But if your pops is still kicking or you don't have psychic powers, hopefully you remembered your Mortal Kombat codes, because just like Freddy, Jason is vulnerable to a babality. Babality. Most of Jason Takes Manhattan takes place on a yacht, since they couldn't really afford to shoot much in New York.
The parts that are in New York are pretty fun. When he kicks the boombox, that's ideal.
Result, the movie isn't nearly as cool.
Have you guys seen the new Scream movie, by the way? It's great.
Cool as the title makes it sound. But at least we got that awesome scene where Jason just like punches a dude's head off. Jason chases our heroes into the sewer where they melt his face off with a barrel of toxic waste. Then he gets swept away by a tidal wave of ooze.
Yeah, why does the toxic waste turn him into child Jason? The goggles, they do nothing!
My eyes, the goggles do nothing.
The acid bath reverts Jason into a 12-year-old boy, somehow. Not really sure how that works. I guess it could be a hallucination? Science, who knows? Either way, Jason is back without explanation at the beginning of Jason Goes to Hell, where he gets blown to smithereens by the obvious idea of calling the FBI. No one thought, oh, let's call the cops on the serial killer that's murdering people.
Well, hey, how about this? Jason going on the yacht made it an interstate crime.
So that means if I'm like an undead serial killer and I just kill people in Jersey and I don't go anywhere else.
The FBI has no authority.
Okay, cool. The FBI sets up a sting with an undercover camper and they ambush Jason with a hail of bullets and grenades. They scoop up his remains and bring them to a lab where a technician chows down on his still beating heart. Why would you eat his heart?
It's like beating and the guy's like, oh man.
I suddenly have a craving for heart. Somehow, it took 9 movies for us to learn that Jason can possess people. His soul is like this wriggly worm thing that looks like a chest burster. And
that's the worst Friday the 13th movie is Jason Goes to Hell. Terrible.
The only way to kill it is with a magic dagger. Well, a magic dagger in the hands of a Voorhees, because why the hell not? Look, at this point, I'm believing anything Jason tells me. Because what have we gone through? We've gone through undead Jason, we've gone through zombie dad, there's a psychic, somehow water turns you into a 9-year-old boy, now we're here with a wriggly worm soul that can only be destroyed by a magic dagger. I don't know what series we're on anymore. Turns out Jason had a half-sister named Jessica, and when she stabs him in the heart, a bunch of monster hands pop out of the ground and drag him to hell, with an assist from Freddy Krueger. Freddy helps him escape from hell too, but Jason ends up surviving their duel, which sets him up for a major upgrade in Jason X. The only way to kill the new and improved Uber Jason is via atmospheric entry.
That doesn't even kill
him!
So
the government captures Jason—
At least the implication, I think, is that he isn't dead. He just ends up in a new lake on Earth 2.
But they can't figure out how to kill him. Too bad they couldn't just watch this video, lol. They shock him, gas him, hang him, but nothing works.
Fenekigami says, to be fair, the cops would just stand around and wait for the reinforcements because Jason's scary.
So they stick him in a cryogenic storage and let future people deal with him. I'll deal with it later. That's where I keep my severed heads. That's such a good joke. Where is it? 400 years later, he wakes up on a spaceship and goes on a rampage until wannabe Mila Jovovich shreds him with future guns.
And then he becomes Uber Jason, who's fucking awesome.
A bunch of nanomachines reconstruct him into cyborg Uber Jason, who—
I want to know what Uber Freddy would look like. Has anyone done Uber Freddy fan art?
Can now survive in the vacuum of space. Great. Lucky for us, Jason's new body parts didn't come with heat shielding. So if you can push him towards the nearest planet, he'll burn up in the atmosphere. Last and most certainly least, we've got the remake Jason. He's a lot smarter than his canon counterpart, but if you can avoid his traps—
Uber Freddy would be longer claws for sure, for sure.
Your best bet is to chuck him in a wood chipper. Though you might want to jab a machete through his heart just to be on the safe side.
Say hi to mommy. In hell!
But there's no such thing as a safe side when it comes to Jason Voorhees. As long as there are attractive young campers boozing, smoking pot, and having premarital sex—
We love premarital sex!
Jason will be lurking in the woods waiting to strike. Hi guys, thanks for watching, and happy—
Yeah, I think they cleared up the copyright issues over Jason. So I'm curious, Jason X is a comedy. Jason X is a comedy, for sure. It's a dark comedy slasher, for sure. Best you could find. Let's take a look. I guess it's like comic book Freddy from Super Freddy. That's what he was called. Super Freddy. Yeah. Super Freddy's kind of lame. I hate Super Freddy, and that's a weak-ass kill, if I'm being honest, in that movie. Anyway. Let's do Chucky. No. Michael Myers or Chucky? Which one do we do next? What do you guys think? Michael Myers or Chucky? Pick. Okay, looks like Mike Myers wins. We'll do Chucky
Hey
afterwards.
guys, I'm Kyan. Halloween is right around the corner, which means that Michael Myers is probably hitching a ride to Haddonfield as we speak. John Carpenter's seminal slasher has terrorized everyone from babysitters to Busta Rhymes. And with another reboot on the horizon, you better learn how to survive the shape. Let's take a look at how the big bad boogeyman has been beaten in the past and see if we can figure out how to kill Michael Myers. In the first Halloween, there's no explanation behind Michael's rampage, or why he's so hard to put down.
Which I think is I know it's not like a hot take, but I think that's where he works best, typically, is unexplained entirely.
Or how he nails a 200-pound man to a wall with just a butcher's knife. Babysitter Laurie Strode gets some good jabs in, including a knitting needle to the neck, a hanger to the eye, and a knife to the gut. But if you want to finish him off, you should seek psychiatric.
This video is 5 years old, so this is before Halloween and Halloween kills and Halloween ends.
Help. After Laurie rips Michael's mask off, his weirdly obsessed psychiatrist Dr. Loomis comes to the rescue. He empties his revolver into the shape and knocks him off a second-floor balcony. Today, you'd be damn foolish to expect a psycho killer to stay down after 6 measly bullets, but in 1978, it was a huge shock when Loomis looks down to see if Michael's body had disappeared. And it sets us up for another horror tradition: endless sequels. Since Halloween 2 takes place on the same night as the first movie, most of it's set in the hospital where Laurie's recuperating. It's also where we learn that she's Michael's sister.
That girl, that Strode girl, that's Michael Myers' sister. She was born 2 years before he was committed. 2 years after, his parents died.
I hate this retcon. Worst retcon in the entire series is that he's the brother of Laurie. Terrible.
And she was adopted by the Strodes.
But before...
I'm glad that the reboot from like 2018 retconned the retcon and no longer are they related. That was a mistake.
Michael has a little fun around Haddonfield Memorial. He even boils up some fresh nurse for the occasion. Yum. Loomis is back to save the day again, and this time he's got bad gas. Loomis shoots Michael some more, but he doesn't even pretend it's enough to kill him. Can't say the same for this Marshal.
Get away from him!
Anyway, Laurie gets off a couple of rounds right through Michael's eyes, but he still keeps coming. Luckily, they're in a surgery room surrounded by tanks of gas. Loomis fills the room with ether, somehow avoiding a Pillsbury Doughboy hallucination.
Excuse me, Mr. Burns.
Poppin' fresh, you glutinous little doughboy.
Oh, wow.
It is nice and flammable, though, and when he flicks his lighter, they're both incinerated in a massive explosion. Or not.
Eventually.
Michael?
This actually was supposed to be the final appearance of Michael Myers, which is why the third movie is about an alcoholic doctor taking on an evil mask company.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
Honey.
All the kids' heads turn into bugs at the end of that movie.
But Michael will be back before long because
Spoilers.
Honestly, you think a little fireball's gonna take out the damn boogeyman? It didn't even kill Dr. Loomis, and he's just an angry old bald guy. But it did put Michael in a coma for a little while. In the meantime, Laurie gave birth to her daughter, Jamie. Oh, well, Jamie, because the actress. Then she died in an off-screen car crash because Jamie Lee Curtis had enough of this bullshit. After 10 years,
for now,
Michael wakes up and ferociously pursues his new niece. He even gets his hand on a shotgun at one point, which is a terrifying thought. I mean, who said guns don't kill people? If you got enough of them, you might even be able to kill.
Halloween 3 is good. It's a terrible, like, in hindsight, it makes no sense to be part of the same series, but it is a good movie. I like Halloween 3. It's just, you know, it's not a Michael Myers movie. I see why people were disappointed if they didn't know that going in.
Michael, as long as you can assemble a firing squad. Michael sure got a lot of bullets in him. I mean, I hope he never has to get an MRI. That's gonna be like a whole issue. Sir, are you okay? I'm fine.
What? I can't see you. My eyes have been shot out by bullets.
After the state police pump him full of lead, Michael falls into an old mine shaft that collapses on top of him. Then they chuck in some dynamite for good measure. They should have thrown in the kitchen sink too, because Michael survives and escapes into a river. The fifth movie is often seen as one of the worst in the series. Even that awesome pitchfork impalement isn't enough to save it. For one thing, it introduced all this Curse of Thorn crap that bogged everything down. For another, the ending is weak as hell. Dr. Loomis
I know that they were planning on making Halloween an anthology, which, like, isn't a bad call. They just should have made that call with the sequel and not the third movie, because that threw people off.
Drops a metal net on him and shoots him with tranquilizers. Then
I hate the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. I think they're terrible, and I think fundamentally Rob Zombie doesn't understand what's good about the good Halloween movies. Like, I don't... How do I put this? It feels like Rob Zombie feels sympathy for Michael Myers, and that's the last thing you want. Like, he basically turned Michael Myers into a self-insert in his movies, because when he gets the mask off in part 2, he just looks like Rob Zombie. I don't really like Rob Zombie movies either.
Bats him around with a wooden plank until the cops take him to jail, which promptly gets blown up by a spooky cult leader who helps him escape. This cult shit seriously just sucks so f***ing bad. It has no f***ing place in this. Whatever, it's fine. It all sucks!
The Thorn trilogy is bad.
Why can't people just kill people without cults and magic? Right? Like, just kill somebody. And there's only one man who can put a stop to it. Paul Rudd. He plays grown-up Tommy Doyle, the little kid from the very first movie. Michael chases him into a medical lab inside an insane asylum where the cult is using Michael's DNA to grow evil babies. This sounds batshit. Like, have I mentioned how bad this cult shit sucks? Tommy injects Michael with some magic goo, whacks him in the head.
It's an incest baby in one of the cuts of the movie. I don't remember which one. There's a director's cut and there's a producer's cut. In one of them, it's an incest baby with his niece.
With a pipe a few times, and...
Is Rob Zombie the dude that fucked up the Munsters? Yes.
Well, that's it. The last we see of Michael is a shot of his mask lying on the floor with Dr. Loomis screaming in the background. The whole movie's a mess, and the alternate ending doesn't help much. Halloween H2O made the right move by disregarding every movie but the first two. Jamie Lee Curtis returned, revealing that Laurie faked her death all those years ago. Michael finds out and slices and dices his way through the best cannon fodder 1998 had to offer, including LL Cool J, who somehow survives the night. I think Michael Myers' secret weakness is rappers from the 90s. Instead of a firing squad, get a squad of 90s rappers. The G Unit! How to Kill Michael Myers, the G Unit.
The president has like a secret phone. You know, Michael Myers on loose again. We need to call in G Unit.
We need to call in the G Unit. More on that later, but for now, Laurie's able to stop Michael with a clean and simple decapitation. Laurie stabs the shit out of her bro, but she's no fool. She wants to make absolutely certain that the shape is finished for good, so she hijacks the coroner's van and rams it into him at full speed.
Satisfying ending.
Then, when he's pinned against a tree, she slices his head off with one swing of an axe. It's a badass ending, and I kind of wish the series finished there, but I'll give them credit. The way they get Michael out of this one is pretty clever. Turns out Michael
I don't know if it's clever.
Close with one the paramedic.
Certainly convenient.
Before he lost his head. Laurie has a breakdown once she realizes she decapitated an innocent man, which gives Michael the opportunity to finish her once and for all. With baby sister gone, Myers tries his hand at reality TV, where the legendary killer suffers his greatest defeat at the hands of...
Unironically, Halloween Resurrection is a really fun movie because it's terrible. If you haven't seen Halloween Resurrection, please watch it. Busta Rhymes kung fu fights Michael Myers in it. And that's all you need to know.
Of Busta Rhymes. Seriously, Busta actually bosses Michael freaking Myers around.
Huh? You don't get it? You don't get it? You go do your job.
And he holds his own in a fight, too. He also jams an electrical wire in Michael's crotch and roasts him alive.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Michael wakes up in the morgue, but as far as the original series goes, he's been MIA ever since. Maybe he's just deeply embarrassed by the fact that Busta Rhymes kicked his ass.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
So, here's the part on How to Kill where we shit on the inevitable reboot. But Rob Zombie's 2007 Halloween remake wasn't actually that bad. I'll give him credit for bringing his—
No, it's bad. It fundamentally doesn't understand the character. It's terrible. It gives Michael Myers a backstory. It tries to justify it. I hate it.
Its own unique vision to the franchise. So let's see what it takes to bring down—
Have I seen Dead Alive? Is that one of the early Peter Jackson films? Yes, but it's been a while.
The bigger, badder Michael Myers. The first remake follows the original ending pretty closely. Loomis shoots Michael, then Laurie and her brother tumble off a balcony. But this babysitter isn't taking any chances. She points the gun at his face and boom, headshot. The second zombie Halloween is a little more off the rails, but it's still interesting.
A little.
Michael wakes up in an ambulance again, and we learn he's seeing visions of his dead mother commanding him to kill. Still better than a dumb cult. At the end, Mikey gets shot some more and falls into some spiky farm equipment. Then Laurie finishes the job with a bit of the old stabby stabby.
They gave Michael Myers a backstory in Curse of Michael Myers. I know, and that's also a bad movie.
She buries Michael's trademark knife right into his skull, and that's it for the Zombieverse. Michael Myers will return next year in a new reboot that's a direct sequel to the first Halloween. Will it breathe new life into the franchise? Who knows? But I'll tell you one thing, it's hard to keep a good boogeyman down. Boogie boogie.
It's the Oogie Boogie Man.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. So now we've covered all three of the main slashers. We got Freddy, we got Jason, we got Michael, they're all dead. Which one is your favorite?
All right, Chucky.
Hello everyone, I am Andrew, and I like my slashers just a little smaller. Chucky has always been my favorite movie maniac. I mean, what's not to love about a psychotic Cabbage Patch Kid doing a bad Jack Nicholson impression?
Nothing like a strangulation to get the circulation going.
But cute as he is, this good guy is extremely bad news. So if you want to live to play another day, you better follow our guide on how to kill Chucky. It's easy enough the first time around, just shoot him.
Yeah.
Chucky was born as Charles Lee Ray, a serial killer known as the Lakeshore Strangler, who also looks just like Tommy Wiseau.
Oh, hi, Mark.
And by extension, me.
What
a story, Mark.
One night, a cop named Mike Norris chases him into a toy store, where the two exchange gunfire until Charles is fatally shot. He then uses a voodoo ritual, somehow, to transfer his soul into a nearby good guy doll.
Give me the power, I beg.
Think like My Buddy, but with a less catchy jingle.
My buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy.
Chucky quickly settles back into his old routine, getting revenge on his ex-partner and throwing a babysitter out of the window just for funsies. Problem is, the longer he stays in the doll body, the more human it becomes. He starts—
I think the first one did that the best. You can see slowly Chucky's like body and facial features becoming more human, more like Charles Lee Ray as the movie goes on. They kind of dropped that in the later movies. He still becomes more human, but like his visage does not change that much, which is a shame, because I thought that was a cool part of the first movie.
To bleed, feel pain, getting grown toenails, all that fun stuff.
Last night I got shot.
See, like, look at his face here. The eyebrows have started getting bushier. The features just slowly start to get less like a cute doll and more like a man, like an adult man in a doll, if you know what I mean.
You know something? It hurt. It hurt like a son of a bitch, it even bled.
It's good news for you, though, because now you can kill him with a bullet through the heart.
Shoot him in the heart!
At least according to the official Voodoo rulebook. There's a lot of fine print in there, like the fact that Chucky can only transfer his soul into the first person he revealed his true nature to. In this case, a boy named Andy Barclay.
I don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
Andy. I don't know. Mike and Andy's mother interrupt the ritual, but they have a pretty hard time putting Chucky down. Burning him in a fireplace just pisses him off, and blowing off his arms and legs don't do much good either. They literally shoot his head off, and he just keeps coming at them. Until a well-placed shot to the heart puts him down.
The heart! Shoot him in the heart!
Which one's the one where he gets all melty? 2. I want to say that's Child's Play 2 in the factory.
The nightmare is over for Andy, but not for Play Pals. The toy company behind the Good Guy dolls faces a huge PR disaster. You know,
this I've never understood from the second movie. So in order to investigate the murders in the first movie, they remake the Chucky doll, but like it's made with new parts. But it's sort of a Ship of Theseus situation. How much of it is really the original Chucky doll? Like, why rebuild it to do the investigation? It's no longer the same doll, except I guess it is, because Charles Lee Ray comes back to life in the doll. Sloppy.
How that goes, oh, our doll killed a bunch of people gruesomely. This is gonna affect Q4 sales for sure.
To prove that this metal-o is harmless, I will personally eat one. See, there's nothing. God! Oh! Yeah! Boy! This thing is shredding my insides!
So they rebuild Chucky to prove he's just a harmless lump of plastic. Then, in a shocking turn of events, Chucky comes back to life. And if you know any economists, you might want to give him a call right now because he's extremely susceptible to hyperinflation. Let me explain. Before Chucky beats that teacher to death with a yardstick, he also jams a bicycle pump in her chest and blows her across the room. Not really sure how those physics work, but it's actually some great foreshadowing for his death at the end of Child's Play 2. Chucky, Andy, and his foster sister Kyle all wind up in the Play Pals factory. And for once, Chucky actually gets to finish his ritual. It's too late though. His soul is permanently trapped in the doll, and he is pissed. It really seems like nothing can stop him, not even 100 gallons of boiling pink plastic. But if you can maneuver an air hose into his melty mouth, it'll make an airtight seal and set Chucky up for a nice, gooey, satisfying head explosion. His remains are left in the factory for
Child's Play reboot is actually pretty good. I just wish it was its own movie, which basically did later happen with Megan. And I actually liked Megan. Megan was fun, campy, horror comedy. I enjoyed it.
8 years until Play Pals decides to bring back the good guys again for some weird reason. There's already a terrible history at this company and we're only 2 movies in. Then again, Furbies came back and they're just as scary.
Like, unironically, if they did a Megan versus Chucky movie, I think that would be hilarious and great.
Scary. Even, you know, if they never crushed anyone to death in a garbage truck. That one made me cry when I was a kid. Chucky's splattered remains drip into a plastic vat, transferring his soul into a brand new doll. It's not gonna be easy to kill him this time, unless, like me, you're a really big fan. Since everyone who loves him is either dead or complete.
Child's Play 3. When Charles Lee Ray comes back to life in Child's Play 3, because the blood from part 2, from from Chucky's corpse, falls into a vat of plastic, so they make a new doll. It's like a new doll that's Freddy, or that's Chucky. All of a sudden, he assumes that the rules have reset. Like, he assumes, like, I have an opportunity to once again transfer my soul, and whoever I now tell is the new target instead of Andy. Like, why? Why do you assume that? Why do you assume the timer resets? How does that work?
Completely insane, teenage Andy is stuck in a military school. Sucks for him, but it's great news for Chucky the Killer Doll. He's got all kinds of new toys to play with, like grenades and paintball guns loaded with real ammo. Even
Wouldn't his soul be in every doll created from that plastic? See, that was gonna be, they were gonna do that in part 2 originally, I think, was that he was gonna bring a bunch of dolls to life and put his souls in them, but they didn't have the budget for it, so that idea got shelved until Cult of Chucky, where that idea is utilized pretty well, I would argue.
When he gets his face cut off by a scythe, you can tell Chucky's just having a blast until he falls into a giant fan that rips him into shreds.
That seems like a dangerous thing to have just open in a amusement park ride without a grate or anything. Feels like an OSHA violation.
Charles Lee Ray's old girlfriend Tiffany stitches his head back together and brings him back to life in the sequel. To show his gratitude, he kills Tiffany and turns her into the titular bride of Chucky. After the classic Child's Play trilogy, the franchise moved on to full-blown horror comedy.
What are you talking about?
For God's sake.
Child's Play is amazing because it's a series that went from horror to horror comedy, back to horror, back to horror comedy again with the Chucky show. It's pretty great.
Chucky, drag yourself into the 90s. Stabbings went out with Bundy and Dahmer. You look like Martha Stewart with that thing.
Who the fuck is Martha
Stewart?
It's actually a great fit for the series.
Yeah, there's a Chucky show now. 2 seasons are already out. I've heard it's great. Lennon Cat says, Chucky having a cult makes a lot of sense, honestly. He's living proof that souls are real and the afterlife is real, and magic can transfer souls from one body to another. And Cassifel with a link.
I want to kill Andy. I earned it. I've been through a lot today. You got to suck titty today. Look what happened to me. Hello? Look at my hair. Oh, shit, you win. Absolutely. Sorry, pal. You go fuck them up real good. Have fun. You, guard the door. Kill anyone that tries to get in. Right.
No, this isn't the show. This is from Cult of Chucky. The main character in Cult of Chucky and Curse of Chucky is actually played by Brad Dourif's daughter. Brad Dourif, the guy who plays Chucky. I forget her first name, and I apologize for that. I hate doing that. But she's excellent. She's an excellent actress, and she actually plays young Charles Lee Ray in the Chucky show when they do flashbacks, and she does a great job of imitating her dad.
I'll take care of her.
Oh, the Chucky movies are fun.
And Tiffany helped shatter the glass ceiling for slasher movies. But Chucky's death is kind of weak.
She was in Dirk Gently. I loved Dirk Gently. I only saw the first season, but it was so good.
All it takes is some more bullets. Even Chucky doesn't seem to be impressed.
Go ahead and shoot. I'll be back. I always come back.
At least Tiffany goes out giving birth to a terrifying doll baby, which sets the stage for Seed of Chucky. And since he's a dad now, that means Chucky is vulnerable to patricide. This is far and away the weirdest film in the franchise.
Get it, Mini-Me?
Jennifer Tilly is a main character, played by Jennifer Tilly, who also does the voice of Tiffany. Also,
glad you missed this one. No, check it out. This one's actually pretty good. It's pretty good. Chucky as a non-binary child. And it's a good movie. Check it out. It's a weird one.
2 profane little dolls murder Britney Spears by running her card right off the road. The titular seed is named Glenn or Glenda, depending on which split personality is dominant. They bring their parents back to life using the same...
I should say gender fluid.
Voodoo amulet. And after Chucky kills their mom, Glenn and his old man throw down in a cheesy kung fu battle.
Let's go.
He dismembers his father with an axe and chops off his head, which never seemed to stop him before, but whatever. Bride and Seed played pretty loose with the rules. Original director John Mancini returned to the series with Curse of Chucky and brought back its horror roots. Chucky returns to murder a whole bunch of people and, as usual, stick the blame on someone else.
Nico, what have you done?
Ian, please, you know I would never...
In this case, a girl named Nika, whose mother was a survivor of Charles Lee Ray's early period. Nika gets convicted and sent to a mental asylum, while Chucky successfully possesses her niece, Alice. The credits roll with Chucky safe and sound. But if you want to see him dead, all you need is patience.
This was a great post-credit scene. Amazing payoff.
In a post-credit scene,
they actually got the kid who played Andy in the first two movies when he was like 6 to come back. Amazing.
See Chucky arrive in the mail somewhere. When he crawls out of the box, we learn that the recipient is none other than grown-up Andy Barclay. Andy. Not only that, he's played by the same actor who portrayed him as a kid in 1988. Alex Vincent isn't the greatest actor, at least not as an adult.
Really?
But
no, but it's cool seeing him. I'm happy with it.
It's seriously an awesome reveal. You can tell Andy's been waiting a long time for this moment. He's got his shotgun at the ready, pointed point blank at Chucky's head. Then, 25 years after the doll ruined his life, Andy blows its head off.
Play with this.
Andy!
It's a sick ending, even if it doesn't make much sense. For example, if Chucky transferred his soul, how was he in the doll that got sent to Andy?
They actually explain that in the sequel. It's because there's multiple Chucky dolls at that point.
Well,
they explain. Oh, he's gonna say it. Okay.
Cult of Chucky has the answer. Also, it just came out this year, so spoiler warning. You've been warned. But it turns out Chucky can split up his soul and possess multiple things at once. He looked it up on
VoodooForDummies.com that changed everything. Now I can be me and me and me.
There are so many Chuckies running around by the end of this movie, it's hard to keep track. Only one of them actually dies though. Andy rips a gun out of its guts Videodrome style, then he curb stomps his head into a mushy red paste. One doll goes into hiding while another possesses Nika and reunites with Tiffany. As for the original Chucky, Andy's keeping his head alive at home to torture for all eternity. That leaves 3 still out there, which means that there are more Chuckies in the world than there are living Beatles. And those are just the ones we know about. That's why it's so important to know what you're dealing with. And the best way is to take this little bastard down. You might not be able to stop him for good, but you can definitely ruin his day. It's like the doll himself says.
Dying is such a bitch.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching.
This is a good series. I'm enjoying this. The leprechaun, oh god. Terminator. People are saying Terminator.
Hey guys, I'm Kyan. Halloween might be over, but that doesn't mean you're safe. That's why we're expanding our How to Kill series beyond slashers and serial.
Did they explain why he can split his soul between many dolls? Yeah, he mentioned that he found it on a website called VoodooForDummies.com, how to do it. Which is a good enough explanation.
Killers, because the future is now and there's no fate but what we make for ourselves. So come with me if you want to live, because I'm gonna tell.
Voodoo for Dummies also works for a possibly unintentional pun. Oh, of course it does. Dummy. Okay. Yeah.
Tell you how to kill the Terminator.
Do you think Terminator's 1 better than 2? I think the time travel is better in Terminator 1. Terminator 2 is probably the better movie. I like them both. I like them both. That's such a hard thing to pick.
At least how to kill one today. In the future, humans have.
It's like Alien versus Aliens. They're almost different genres, so it's like hard to like say which one is best.
Access to high-tech weapons that can annihilate Skynet's killer cyborgs. But in 1984, you might be out of luck.
With these weapons, I don't know.
Fortunately, these unfeeling, emotionless death machines aren't immune to depression. James Cameron's tech noir triumph is about a deadly cyborg sent back in time to kill Sarah Connor.
This afternoon.
You're dead, honey.
Mother of the resistance leader, John. John sent someone back too, Kyle Reese, and this guy knows his shit.
All right, listen. The Terminator's an infiltration unit. Part man, part machine. Underneath, it's a hyperalloy combat chassis. Microprocessor controlled, fully armored, very tough. But outside, it's living human tissue.
Seriously, he should have hosted this video if he wasn't, you know, like dead. The Terminator chases Sarah all across LA from a neon nightclub to an...
Is Terminator an anti-capitalist movie? The first one? Probably not as much as the second one. The second one gets a lot more into Cyberdyne, the company, and has more satire of, like, giant conglomerates. I would say that the thesis of the second one certainly has some anti-capitalist sentiment, but, like, it's not the main thesis. It's like a leitmotif. It comes back a few times, but it's not RoboCop. RoboCop is very anti-capitalist. Terminator's anti-war, it's probably anti-military industrial complex.
Insane police station massacre. And it seems like nothing can stop him. Kyle's shotgun barely makes him flinch, and an igniting gas tank just singes off Arnold's eyebrows. A fuel truck explosion can burn off his organic exterior, though, exposing the titanium endoskeleton underneath. It also makes the Terminator start moving all jerky for some reason.
It's so funny to me that they say endoskeleton. Like, we normally just call that a skeleton. Like, I have an endoskeleton. It's under my skin and muscles. It's in me. Like, that's what a skeleton is.
Cripples the machine with a pipe bomb, sacrificing himself in the process. But just
exo means out.
Like John Cena,
an exoskeleton is on the outside. Endo means inside.
T-800 never gives up. Hustle, loyalty, respect. C-Nation. It crawls after Sarah, who lures it into a hydraulic press. Then she crushes it with one of the most badass send-offs in cinematic history.
You're terminated.
Sarah lives to fight another day, and fight she will. She has to deal with multiple Terminators in T2 Judgment Day, but both of them can be killed by a little lava dip. This time, Skynet sends in the big guns, the T-1000.
I think one of the problems with the Terminator sequels after 2 is they escalated too quickly with the threats of the Terminators. In the first one, the T-800 is an indestructible killing machine, but it can be stopped, right? It's still a physical form, you know? T2, the metal Terminator, which is awesome, you can't beat it. He's too unstoppable. It's too impressive as a concept. Like, you can't up the stakes from this. Like, this is already too unstoppable. The third one, they did a really stupid thing where it's like, oh, on the outside she has, like, liquid metal, but on the inside she's like a normal Terminator, and it's like, that's not scarier. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's just a worse version of the one from the second movie. And then in, like, Genesis, they did a microbot magnetic thing? I don't know.
It's made of a memetic. It's made of a
Memetic?
Arnold, say it.
A mimetic polyalloy.
Thank you, Arnold. Basically makes Arnold look like a rock'em sock'em robot by comparison. It can form its limbs into deadly blades, perfectly mimic your loved ones, and murder them before they can finish their milk. Can you imagine if she just like stabbed him through the milk and then like did like a dab at her? Arnold doesn't have a chance, and neither does John Connor, who he's now...
Moira Soma with 500 bits says, I love this stream. So many things I didn't know about horror franchises. Unlike Marvel movies, which I find insanely boring and trite, except Deadpool, I love horror, and even if I don't watch a lot of horror franchises like you, I find this very entertaining, and I love how happy this subject makes you. Happy Hannah is always amazing. Thank you. I enjoy this too. I'm gonna keep doing this every once in a while, do movie streams. I think that's a nice kind of cleanse since we cover so much, you know? Bullshit.
Program to protect. Hand-to-hand combat is futile and bullets are completely worthless.
Lenin Cat says, I can't remember, but did they explain how they managed to send the second one back in time? Because wasn't the whole reason it was partly organic was because only organic material could go back in time? Correct. Only things that are wrapped in organic material can go back in time. I don't remember if they explain how they send multiple back. I think you just gotta hand wave it.
But our heroes get a lucky break when a truck full of liquid nitrogen freezes a T-1000.
First Marvel, now horror, what's next? Maybe sci-fi? Sci-fi, I know this video is kind of that, but...
The shattered pieces pull themselves together, but it's a good start. The T-1000 glitches out after the ordeal, cluing us in that the extreme temperatures are the key to taking it down. The two machines fight their final battle inside a steel mill, and if you're still wondering how to kill a T-800, T-1000 does a damn good job. He smashes Arnold's head, destroys his arm, and impales him right through the power cell. But his reserve battery...
do I like Japanese horror like Junji Ito? Specifically, Junji Ito I love. I don't really do manga or anime, but Junji Ito is the exception. I really enjoy the Junji Ito stuff. Hello. How are you?
Oh, good.
But I like Ringyu and Audition's good. That's Japanese. I almost said Old Boy. That's South Korean. That's racist of me. Odd Tall Man says, sorry if you said this. What channel name is this person? I'm enjoying her. Also, I rewatched Curse of the Demon with Dana Andrews, and I again recommend. Maybe my favorite horror movie of all time. This channel is called Now This Nerd. Here's a link. What's my favorite sci-fi movie? Ooh. That's really tough. There are so many sci-fi movies I love. Let me look at a list and see if I can... Sci-fi is such a wide genre, too. It's really hard to pinpoint what's my favorite, because sci-fi movies are used to tell so many allegorical stories about so many different things. Like Everything Everywhere All at Once. Is that a sci-fi movie? Arguably, I guess, because it does involve, you know, technology that allows them to go through dimensions, but it's not really the point of the movie. I don't know. Primer's a great time travel movie, but it's really dry. Inception's good, but again, is that really sci-fi? Sci-fi is almost more the I don't know how to explain. Blade Runner 2048 is excellent. I don't know. I like Interstellar. Logan's Run is good if we're looking at like 70s sci-fi prior to Star Wars. Arrival's really good. Ex Machina's really good. I can't pick. Moon. Planet of the Apes, arguably. I'd have to look at my collection as a whole to try and determine, and that would be really, really tough. That's tough.
Brings him back to life.
What would be a go-to sci-fi movie if I wanted to pass a couple of hours? Back to the Future Part 2, probably. Because I've seen that so many times I could watch it and quote most of the lines, probably.
Just in time.
The Star Trek movies, too. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan is great. I love all the Star Trek movies. Galaxy Quest, I love as a Star Trek fan. Great homage. Wish Tim Allen wasn't in it, but what are you gonna do? Gattaca is also great. I have that on 4K.
Time to explode the T-1000 with one well-placed round from a grenade launcher. The twisted mess plunges into a vat of molten steel, completely dissolving in the liquid metal. And in the most heartbreaking twist in movie history...
No, don't do it. Please, don't go.
Ooh, Eternal Sunshine's great, too. I have that on 4K. Came out in the last year. That's one of Jim Carrey's better movies. Would you consider Truman Show a sci-fi movie? Because arguably the technology being used to film him constantly is sci-fi. The scale of like building that entire island inside a building. Truman Show's good. That is a 4K Blu-ray coming out on July 4th. And it's very normal that I know this off the top of my head.
Don't know why you cry.
We learned that the lob was pretty effective against the older model, too. Hasta la vista, baby. In Rise of the Machines, we learn about a new model Terminator.
Yeah, Star Trek and Star Wars would probably have to be their own stream, separate from general sci-fi.
The TX. Honestly, I'm not sure what Skynet was thinking because she's way more killable than the T-1000.
Yeah.
You just need a teeny tiny nuke.
Yeah, T3
The TX has the same morphing alloy in the outside, but it's covering a metal endoskeleton. I guess it's cool that she can turn her hand into a gun like Mega Man, but I think plain old lead is just as effective. I mean, those clunky old prototypes have no problem slaughtering a bunker full of soldiers. And for such an advanced model, the TX's body makes her
Should have done Star Wars today? Probably. I didn't really feel like talking about Star Wars today, though. Don't hate me. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan in the world. I'm a Star Trek lady. Like, again, I've watched all the Star Wars movies. I've enjoyed them for the most part. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't connect with me like Trek does.
way more vulnerable.
Cassifel says, Truman Show is very much a sci-fi movie. It's just very grounded. It fits a lot of modern stuff, how surveillance works, how we record ourselves, entertainment, etc. I accept it as a sci-fi thingy. It'll, it be what it be.
The T1.
Does the toxic fan base factor into that? Maybe. Star Trek has that too, though. But it feels like every Star Wars fan hates Star Wars more than I do. And I don't hate Star Wars, but it feels like people who are Star Wars fans fucking hate Star Wars. It's weird. I've not seen Vanilla Sky. I actually don't know anything about it.
1000. Like when Arnold crashes a helicopter into the TX and crushes her legs, it's too bad she couldn't, you know, just melt and reform. She has to crawl instead, which means Arnold has a chance to set off his hydrogen power cell, blowing them both to robot hell in an atomic blast.
You are terminated.
The next entry in the Terminator franchise is the extremely underrated Sarah Connor Chronicles. Lena Headey is absolutely badass as the title character, and Summer Glau steals the show as a sympathetic Terminator named Cameron.
He's not a guy. He's a scary robot.
Sadly, we just don't have the time to cover it in detail. There are just too many Terminators, and they're a lot weaker than the movies. I mean, I can't imagine Arnold getting folded like laundry until his titanium neck snaps. But there are some helpful examples here. So cue the royalty-free Benny Hill music.
I've never seen Sarah Connor Chronicles. Did Sarah Connor Chronicles actually get like a proper ending, or did it just get canceled suddenly?
Because it's time for the lightning round. On time. Well, shit. That's a lot of scrap metal, but we're not through yet.
Just got canceled? That's a shame.
Let's take a trip to the future.
Ooh, and a cliffhanger ending.
With Terminator Salvation. Me and Christian Bale have one thing
I don't know what my wife is making, but it smells good.
In common. This movie makes us really mad. In the first three movies, we only saw the post-Judgment Day world in bits and pieces. We hear about John Connor's heroism, but we don't really see it.
Here's the thing about Terminator Salvation. It sounds like a good idea to set a movie during the future parts of Terminator that we only saw briefly in the other movies. But then you see it and you're like, oh, this is just a boring movie. Did I hear Alita Battle Angel 2 is in the works? Haven't seen the first one. I heard it was good, though, so I do plan on watching eventually.
It's left to our imagination, or at least it was before McG got his hands on the franchise. The mystery is gone with the future setting, and the titular machines just aren't as special when there's so many of them. I mean, one T-600 is literally destroyed by a little girl. And the others just get blown away by bullets. Even the climatic T-800 fight just ends with a simple decapitation. Just when you start to notice how unconvincing the CGI Arnold is, a grenade launcher burns its skin off. Some molten metal slows it down for a while, but in the end, a mysterious...
Shouldn't molten metal just kill it? Like in T2? Screaming at the Radio says, there's been a trend for canceled shows continuing in comic form. Serenity Firefly is one. Dirk Gently has an unofficial one made by fans, and my daughter tells me it's pretty good. Oh, cool. I've noticed that. I know there's Firefly comics, and I've seen a few other shows that have done that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I've seen that at, like, Buffy. Buffy Comics continued the show, but that was more recent.
Mysterious Terminator named Marcus just kind of rips its head off. Pretty poor design on Skynet's part. I mean, it's a robot. Its brain doesn't need to be in its head just because a human's is. Why doesn't Arnold just keep a backup CPU in his bicep or his butt or something?
I do not want to touch his ass.
Speaking of things that don't make sense, it's time to talk Terminator Genisys. Sarah takes out the 1984 original with a single shot from a .50 caliber sniper rifle. A new T-1000 brings it back to life with a drop of liquid metal, but Kyle shoots off its head with the same gun.
Genisys isn't good, but it's more watchable than T3 or Salvation. I'm gonna put that out there. It's not good, but it's fine, I guess.
As for the T-1000, turns out that boiling metal isn't the only thing that can dissolve it. An acid bath will do the trick too. There's also the T-3000, a new nanotech model posing as John Connor. And for such an advanced machine, you'd think it would have some sort of protection against magnets.
I actually haven't seen the most recent Terminator, so I can't speak about it. I don't know. I gave up after Genisys.
I'm sure the T-3000 seemed like a good idea. I mean, turning into a killer cloud looks like fun. But if your murder machine gets messed up by an MRI, you might want to go back to the drawing board. Plus, Arnold's new Magno Gauntlet seriously messes him up, and so does the energy generated by a time machine. Skynet is great at exterminating humanity, but it has more trouble with Magnus than the insane clown posse.
Magnus, how do they work?
There's a whole lot of crazy in Genisys. Nanites, magnet gloves, the mother dragons. It feels like the Terminator franchise has lost its way. But it looks like the next movie might finally right the ship, since both James Cameron and Linda Hamilton are back on board.
Gnome Pickle says, I'm convinced that the Terminator models are just weaponized sex robots.
I'm skeptical, but we might just get the Back to Basics reboot I've been waiting for, along with a truly terrifying Terminator. Hey guys, thanks for watching. What's your favorite Terminator model? Mine...
Dark Fate was very bad. Your favorite Terminator movie outside of 1 and 2 is Salvation. That speaks to the low quality of the movies after the second one. Okay, I think I'm gonna call it a night. I am starving. All I ate today was some pretzels and cheese. So I need to make some dinner. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I had a lot of fun today. I like doing this, so... Love you too, Mr. Blast. Let's see who we're gonna raid. We'll be back tomorrow with some kind of stream. I ate before stream. I had the pretzels and cheese. I just didn't have a full meal. I'm gonna go eat now. It's fine. Squid. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Have a good night. Thank you to everyone who got me stuff from my wish list. That's always really, really nice. I appreciate that. You guys are the coolest audience ever. And I really appreciate you. So other than that, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Adios.